Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Goodest cast. And on this episode, I have Matt Coffman. And do I have an episode for you? It's funny. We talk about FD, why he stopped driving, the Roush Yates car, why that was a bad choice, all this like really interesting stuff. We also talk about a bunch of craziness because it is the Goodest cast. That's what we do. I didn't even think we were going to get to do this episode. In fact, Matt told me to delete it a bunch of times. He's an interesting dude, very intelligent. He takes us on a wild ride. Backstories, all this really cool stuff. I know everybody's gonna love it. Check it out. Matt Coffman. Hey, what's up, everybody? I know that you do some kind of motorsport if you're listening to this podcast, and if you don't, you should. And once you do, you should get Fuel Lab. They make pumps, they make fuel systems, they make drop-ins, they make everything you need to make 9,000 horsepower so that you can compete with those absolute unit drift cars of today. Absolute freaking units, because we all know that drifting is turning into a horsepower race. And if you want to play, if you want to keep up, if you want to be part of the party, then you're going to need to get that fuel pressure up, because once you take it to the dyno and they laugh at your weak little pump, when they laugh at your weak little pump that can't handle anything, and it just doesn't provide or deliver, they're going to be like, you should have got Fuel Lab, because Fuel Lab's got those tough pumps. They don't mess around, and they got the pressure. They got the pressure you need to absolutely rock the competition. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't like pressure, well, then you shouldn't be in drifting. Fuel Lab. Get yourself some freaking heat. Get yourself the best pumps on the planet. Maybe the universe. Fuel Lab.
Do I feel like too much of a sellout wearing your hoodie?
No, I appreciate it. It was very thoughtful.
I own like two hoodies.
If I would have had some of your merch, I would have worn it.
I have two hoodies and they're both yours.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
That's sick. Okay.
That's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw you kind of like get your start in drifting at like some of the NorCal stuff, and like
The Vallejo Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah.
When that guy in the Rockstar car like spun off track, and I'm like, oh, I'm good to pass. And then all of a sudden I like transition and he like re-entered back on the track. Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was the first time I was ever like not at a Medford event. I felt self-conscious, to say the least.
Yeah. So like you did rally before.
Okay, so so like, you know, you've been here to the farm, and it's like the first thing that I was like really driving around was a Kirkland. I don't know if it would have been Kirkland, but a Costco, shout out to Kirkland, go-kart, like the one-wheel drive. There's like a little shitty tube chassis with like an aluminum floor plate, one-wheel drive, like Predator engine type go-kart type.
Yeah.
I started driving that thing around.
Sick.
And then when my dad was in his accident, I kind of inherited his pickup truck, which is a 2001 just SLT non-Hemi Ram. And the rear end in those things are pretty tight. And so like, have you ever been to the mountains up here?
Mm-mm.
You've never taken him up the mountains? Mm. So like,
we cruised around last time I came up here.
Yeah, but we didn't go down any dirt roads. But
okay.
So basically like when we were young, we would look up to the mountains and I would see a section of like clear cut forest. And I was like, oh, well, there's got to be a road to get there, because like, you know, the trees just disappear. And so then I started to like try to locate the roads, found some, and then that was pretty much it. So I basically learned rally racing and drifting at the same time, because the mountains here are so vast that you can get carried away with your buddies just ripping, and then all of a sudden you notice you're like, oh, it's 11 p.m. and I am like 3 hours away from home. And so you would just like, we would still be having a good time and like relaxing and listening to music. So, but you get a natural, like just like quicker pace. Like, so you're not freaking everybody in the car out, but you're also like making it home at a decent time.
Yeah.
Sort of. And so like, that's where I started to learn how to drive, was on the cliff edges in the mountains.
Very Takumi of you.
Yeah.
Except you weren't delivering tofu, you were delivering vibes.
Yeah, some of the nature.
Yeah. So how did you like pick rally over drifting, or did you not know what drifting was? Like,
I didn't pick it over. No, I picked drifting over rally racing.
Because you did rally first, but
No.
Did you not know?
No, I think,
you started.
No, I
at the
started
same
drifting. No, well, because so I had a GC, just a caged GC 4-door Subaru. That was a 2.5 RS, and I think it made all of like maybe 100 wheel horse. And
Sick.
yeah, and I went through so many 5 speeds in that car, but genuinely, I think we went through like 11 or 12 5-speed transmissions. But yeah, so rally racing is really expensive to like enter, and then also there's not very many of them, and then it's just like kind of it's you can get way more bang for your buck going drifting.
Yeah,
and also there's no eyes in America looking at rally racing, which is a bummer because like
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, but you can't make a program out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like with drifting, like, we're going to Formula D and everybody wants to be on board, with a program like that. But for just rally racing, there's like nothing. And then the amount of money that you have to spend on top of that, like just because the equipment's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is like, because you can get a set of drift coils, brand new for like $1,800. But like for, something like that with a 40 millimeter shaft and stuff, it's like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So I went drifting.
You're like, I choose this. It's cheaper. And was it more fun or was it just more doable?
Well, so it's two different sides of the same coin to me and I can't compare them both because like I'll have these conversations with like rally people or with drifting and like we'll be talking about our love for the sport and we're like, yeah, it doesn't get any better than this. I'm like, yeah, it really doesn't. And then all of a sudden, but it's really hard to describe because like rally racing is an adventure. It's like one time when we forgot the spare for that car. The last time we went to Oregon Trail Rally, we forgot the spare at the pit, like a bunch of morons. And then when you go to rally racing, everything's like really specific about time. So it's like you have what's known as a park expose at the beginning of most days. And so like that's where all of the cars have to go and check in at that time it's like a downtown street in some town somewhere.
Yeah.
And then like you have your out time where all of a sudden your car has to be at the stage start at this time bracket. And then like it's a lot of math that I just drive the thing. I don't do any of the math stuff. And so like basically we forgot the spare. Then like my crew chief at the time, he was like, give me the notebook. And he took the notebook and he drove off. And then he comes back and he was like 2.5 miles before your turn off the first part, there will be a little sign on the side. And he was like, and I buried the spare like in the bushes there. So like when you're going there, just like pop out and get it. And so it's just like the way of like, I don't know. It's more like, I don't know, just having fun, which is a really dumb way to describe it. But yeah, it's just different. Yeah, they're not really comparable, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of like coming back. You took a little hiatus.
Yeah. Yeah. I just felt like things happen in life that you just have to, either, depending on your outlook and whatnot, you have to decide like, is this something that's going to turn out for the best of me? Like, did this happen for a reason? Like I'm somebody who believes that things happen for reasons. And so like I told you, like for the 2020 season, the year after I broke my arm, like I didn't get my engine in time. Like there's multiple parts that I wouldn't be able to get in time. Like it just, everything happened in my life, including stuff outside of the race program that it was just time to just take a step back. And it just wasn't the same dream that I was chasing originally.
Yeah. Were you like, did you go into drifting wanting to be a competitive professional drifter? Like, did you want to be a champion or did you just get into it initially for it to be fun?
No, for sure. Well, I just knew I could do it. And so let's see, I started driving grassroots. I drove grassroots for only 2 years and then did really like a year of Pro-Am or 2 years of Pro-Am. And then
you like exploded. Like I saw you kind of when you were starting out and it was like, damn, that's a crazy car. This dude's like figuring it out. But then like you were figuring it out like very quickly. Like your rate of progression was like very fast.
Shucks, Palmer.
Yeah.
Knock it off.
I don't know. Whatever.
No, so like I built the reason that I built the car with the V8 like right off the get-go was because like I knew FD was the trajectory and I figured I was like, well, I might as well build like a much more comparable car now so that way when I get into FD,
you're not relearning.
yeah, I'm not relearning. I'm not like adjusting. I'm just like in a car I'm comfortable in. And then like when it came to go to FD, then I made all of the wrong choices with just bringing the wrong people around. And that really, yeah, kind of threw the whole thing into the garbage basically.
I mean, it's a pretty like difficult thing to run a race program and be a driver. And like, I don't know, how old were you when you started FD?
I think it was 20, 21.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude, I wasn't making any good decisions at that point.
Well, it was made so because when I went to FD, it was bringing people around that that really just had no business being there. It's yeah, I'm trying to decide how much I want to say here. But it basically, like, I just brought somebody, like, so I wanted to replicate this car, the Pro-Am car, so which is the car that you saw at Vallejo, like, you know, all those years. And then I brought on a crew chief who, well, he was more of a team manager. It was somebody who showed up at that picnic bench out there one morning, all of a sudden. And the reason that this person, you know, got in contact with the other people I was working with was because of the co-driver that I was using in rally racing at the time. And he thought we were really fast. And so he was like, oh, like Matt would do so much better if we just hooked him up with, you know, a real manager. And then so one day I came outside to sit at that picnic bench where I always like drink a morning cup of coffee. And there was just a really fancy gentleman there in like a suit and like not a suit, but like button up shirt, like papers and stuff, and in a fancy accent. And he was just all like, he just basically made me feel, he was like, yeah, you're gonna be nothing. He was like, unless you take my help. And
Whoa.
so like, and
what?
Yeah, for sure, because and so he offered me 2 pills, like, and it was like, one way you're not going to go anywhere. Like you'll just be some like hick driver from like Oregon and that's all you'll ever be. Or I can help you and you'll go the distance. And then so me being so young and impressionable, and then, yeah, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm probably like not sure of yourself and like,
Palmer, I'm 30 years old. I am still not sure of myself.
It's okay. It's very relatable to most of us, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I took his help, and then I was like, yeah, so basically we just need to replicate this car. So it's like, I'm super comfortable, and like all that sort of stuff. And then it ended up like he literally at one point in time was like trying to find a wrecked Audi R8 chassis, to be, yep. And then I was like, dude, no. And he was like, trust me, you don't know what you're talking about. I know what to do here. And he didn't come from drifting. Like, so he had no idea about the sport. He just made me feel like I was an idiot. And then so literally I had to fight for like weeks to not.
This is like a contract that you signed to work
so
with?
It was just basically somebody I brought on board that was going to be, who's going to take me the distance. And it really was just a demon. Like it literally just like fucked my shit up. And so that's why instead of like having, you know, just a boring LS, but a good platform and something that I was like confident in and knew how to drive. We went to the Roush motor, and dude, it was just bad. And then even my crew at that point in time, like I had to fight for like 5 years just to like get a proper clutch with like a flywheel and everything like on the car. So the first 5 years of FD. So see that box right there?
Yeah.
Do you want to look in it?
Which one?
Or is it too far? That little winner's box? Is it? I'm sorry, Laura moved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the clutch I ran in FD. Like, so that's the flex plate, the flywheel, and everything.
That thing's tiny.
Yeah, it doesn't. I was hoping you were gonna pull it out.
It was like, oh, okay. Well, it's
yeah. But so basically, for the people that can't see, there's a little tiny clutch in there. Just pull the whole thing out. Yeah, so that's my flywheel, that ring gear. Like that's all so that Roush motor that spanned like 10,000 RPM. Like that's all it had, the only inertia that the motor had was like what's in those clutch plates plus the housing plus like the rotating assembly of the engine. And so it was like you couldn't clutch kick that setup. Like you would have to like if you clutch kicked with that, you would literally just feel, and that motor would go from like 2,000 RPM to like 9,800 in like a matter of a quarter of a second. And then like and as soon as you drop the clutch, you would just feel the plates ricochet off of each other. And so like I had to fight with
not being able to clutch kick an FD is kind of a problem.
Yeah, so I had to roll throttle everywhere, and then also the first year and a half, I didn't have a cam on the actual like lever for the throttle itself on the linkage. It was literally just a lever, and so like it was at like maybe like a 35-degree angle of pull, like from the cable. And then once it hit 90 degrees, so it was super stiff to pull, all of a sudden then no stiffness, and then everything's gone. So the motor would want to be like, spin super fast on a no flywheel setup. And then it was just impossible to drive. And so then I think ASD or RTR, one of them two, like sold me the cam wheel that I needed to actually like have a cam profile on the cable. And, yeah, it was just...
It's crazy how much little stuff like that affects your ability, like especially at a level like that.
For sure. Well, and then like I wasn't ready for the because I didn't want to be out there in that program, and also I didn't want to I wanted to go out there in just like my little Silverlight trailer, like I just wanted to show up all humble and not in like a big rig. And then that guy that the team manager that wanted to put
He's
me
like,
in
we got to put on a show.
He's like, we got to do the full big rig, we got to do all this sort of stuff. And so I was just like, fuck, man. Yeah, are we allowed to cuss on the podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
Fuck yeah.
Sweet.
That's crazy. I actually didn't know any of this.
Yeah, so that's why my perform. And then like I would like try to talk to people about this, like at the show. They're like, man, you're doing pretty bad out there. I'm like, yeah, man. And then I'd be like, the car's just like not great. Like it's really set up really poor. And then like people, like then I would go online and I would like see comments of people being like, yeah, stop by Coffman's pits for his like list of list of excuses and like other stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, like, yeah. So it was tough. So the crew chief that forced me to be on that clutch and win. So then quartermaster.
Yeah. And so like, how does that like work? Like, how is that like relationship work? Like, how are they kind of
just
like
me being like sad all the time?
I mean, like you're kind of like running the show, or is this dude like, this is my show? You're
basically
a driver?
No. Those guys like only spelled team with eyes, like and so yeah, it was. And here's the thing, like, and I hate listening to myself talk about this stuff because I feel like such a victim talking about it like this.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, like the way that I've come to terms with all this stuff is just like, shit happens for a reason. And so it's like, and if you think about it, like, the box that you have to be in FD and like what it does to people's mentality and like what it does to the sport is like, just didn't represent my love for it. And so that's why I decided to exit stage right as soon as I broke my arm.
I mean, I think that happens to a lot of people. I mean, like Cotto is a good example. Like
Big time.
He started super young and realized like it was kind of taking the fun out of things. And
dude, he was one of the best.
He's an incredible driver.
He was like one of the first people that I was able to like, when you first start going around and they're like, that person drives an FD? No way.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that was my same experience.
Yeah. And same when he was in the 350 and he had the stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that like inspo for the stacks?
No, that was all out of my hand. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the stacks are cool.
The stacks are really cool,
yeah.
But these are a pain. They like to get them to balance, and like that's not as like you would figure that there would just be like incremental adjustments in between each one of the butterflies. But literally on this one, like you would check the flow, and then you would have to like take a pair of like two like vices, and then literally bend like torsion the shaft and twist it to get your flow rate.
That sounds
stressful.
Fun.
Yeah. So
that's what you want to be doing in an FD round where you have like 4 practice laps.
Yeah. When I was driving an FD, you got more practice time. They had to limit the practice laps to like 12 laps. And I don't know what's going like all the time I hear about brand new rules with FD and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That place is constantly rotating rules.
Yeah. I think they're trying to like adapt really. They're trying to adapt because I don't know. They're trying to adapt.
In what sense?
I don't know. Like, dude, I went to the LZ World Tour and like,
I see what you're saying.
That was pretty cool and exciting. And it's like the cost of entry is less as far as like being a driver.
Dude, when I broke my arm, FD, because you have to pay for the year in full. I was going to miss the last 2 rounds or 3 rounds, FD wouldn't give me my money back for those rounds.
Yeah. I think if that's one thing that I noticed with like the LZ World Tour stuff is it's like very driver centric and they're like,
because you have a driver running it.
Trying to make it more accessible and like beneficial for the drivers. And I think I'd really like to see FD do that for people. I know that it's been at like 20 years and that's never been the case, but I think that's like going to be a saving grace for them. And I don't know. That's an opinion I have.
No, and that's totally valid. I think, oh man, it's such a difficult thing when it comes to, because I really do respect like everybody at FD, like you know, and like Andy Luck's one of my favorite people at FD, which, you know, I hear a lot of people like, what? like Andy's just like like he's a hard ass, but he's just like, he just wants to make sure that his show is going right. I like Andy.
Yeah, he's definitely an enforcer.
Oh, for sure. Dude, my he'll think so my guys, the last few years of FD, and that was the other thing, being at FD, that was kind of a bummer. And another one of the reasons why I was like, okay, I'll bounce out of here now, was because, like, you know, the best part about drifting is the friends. And it's like, and there's like, the only place that I've found it so easy to make friends is like on motorcycles, and then like drifting, like, and everybody's there to be a homie, like everybody's there to have fun. And like when you go to an event, even if you don't have any friends there, it's like you can count on making friends pretty quick. But at FD, it was just like, there's just I just didn't have any friends there at all. And so like,
is it like that kind of just because everyone's competition?
No, it does not have to be like that. Yeah. And like, even Lex, even our homie Lexi, like, because he used to work, you know, Lexi King. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he used to work with Pollock and I think a couple other teams too. But like me and him, it was like right after I dropped out, and me and him were talking at Sonoma, and I was like, dude, it just like, I don't have any friends there, and I was like, and there's no like real camaraderie. And he was like, no, there is camaraderie. He was like, you just weren't a part of it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and I knew that like for sure, like, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know. So the last few years, I had a team, like the best team in the world, and that was like, those were the people I cared about spending time around. Yeah. And dude, like we were at Atlanta. This all wraps up to Andy Luck. So we were at Atlanta, and you have to use the golf carts to get back and forth from the hot pit like to the rest of the track. And me and my crew guys were like as reckless as could be with a lot of stuff. And FD's like really specific about that stuff. So they were doing wheelies on the golf carts, like going up the hill, because I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's like a really steep downhill to a really steep uphill. And I'm in my truck behind them. And it's like kind of crawling the traffic. So they're doing these really slow, like just 12 o'clock, like wheelies in the golf cart, like up the hill. Yeah. And all of a sudden I just see Andy Luck come around the corner. And I was like, Matt, this is it. Like, you should just end it now. And like all of a sudden, like Andy pulls up besides him. And I don't think my crew dudes knew who Andy was yet, because this is only the second round or whatever. Yeah. And Andy throws on this big smile. And he was like, that's really neat. Do it again. And like their guys were like, what? And then he was like, that was cool. Do it again. And those boys just like went straight to scraping the rear tail on the whole, like literally right up to him. And Andy goes, ha ha. And then just nukes going off, like, and like just scream. And I'm just sitting, I'm like, this is it. Like, this is how it ends. And like, and then Andy just like glares at me as I drive by, and I'm like, fuck, dude. And like, and he genuinely, like when I went to see him later, he was like, you know what I got to say? He was like, that shit was crazy. He was like, the fact that I like sarcastically told them, do it again. And they did it. He was like, that's the craziest shit I ever saw. He was like, that's awesome. And so I was like, dude, no way. So no, there's some really good people at FD, but I think that, I think it's really difficult with that stuff, because it's like they're not rotating a big staff. It's like primarily the same folks who are just like perpetuating it. And so, I don't know. FD's doing all right for themselves.
Yeah.
But they could definitely change some things.
Yeah. They are definitely doing pretty all right. Like drifting itself is just getting bigger and bigger.
That's for sure. A lot of intersections, takeovers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Drifting's just exploding right now.
Is that what you've been doing
in Medford?
In your break?
Yeah, no. You know me. I'm in the mountains.
I saw the vet outside.
Oh yeah, dude, that thing's so sad. Oh, I need to get that thing. You see that thing?
Yeah, it was huge.
Should we do something about it?
What is it?
It's a stink bug.
Oh no.
Oh, this isn't gonna work. Here, can I swat it with something?
Yeah.
Guys, Goodest code Naboris dropping now on the site, goodestco.com. If you want to impress your date, if you want to pull up and have that tapestry girl energy, hang one of these in your bedroom and let them know you're a freak, dude. Let them know you're an absolute freak. Hang one in your garage and let them know you're a freak. Let your neighbors know you're a freak. You know what I'm saying? I love these. I'm wrapped in one right now. I made a bed quilt out of them. I made sleeping bags out of them. I'm going to make a shirt. I'm going to make pants. And that's all I'm going to wear for the rest of my life. They're so fucking cool. I had them actually manufactured by Splash Yota in Japan. So they're actually Japanese Noboris. Goodest Cast, Goodest Co, Goodest Gang. I love y'all. We out. Thank you. You're the best.
All right, we're back.
Oh, the mountains. Oh, we were talking about intersections.
We were talking about intersections and your Corvette, and that's what you've been doing.
No, the
rollbacks,
Corvette.
Rollbacks for the kids, you know.
The Corvette has been. I've actually been getting into the rollbacks nowadays since that last crash style event. That was like so. That was so much fun.
Can we talk about that really quick?
Which part?
The crash style rollback competition.
So fun
at Spirit of the West.
Well, and it sucked too because like since there's no street lights out there, like I couldn't.
There's no curbs.
You could just see like phone lights like off in the distance and like people like doing this, and so like it was like you're like, am I getting close to them? And my car's no headlights and stuff, and so I was just like, and my windshield was shattered.
Yeah,
and so like as soon as I would like face the crowd, it was just like cracks across my head. I'm like, okay.
To paint the picture, AVS Grange has like a little skid pad, and it's like 9:30 at night. It's pitch black. You're in the middle of the desert, and literally everyone from the whole drift event is like standing like
on the skid pad.
They're not on it, but they're like right next to it.
Basically.
Yeah. And
So
they
fun.
had a rollback competition, which is like where you like flick the car backwards, like push the clutch in, let it roll, and then like dump the clutch.
Who are you educating?
I don't know.
Do
you think everyone knows what rollbacks are right now?
No,
okay.
Probably.
Fair
like
enough.
I said, drifting's getting pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be rolling straight back.
Are you apprehensive about talking about rollback people or takeover people?
Why? Like, because I'm afraid of them.
Oh, whoa! There's nothing to be afraid of.
I'm from the Bay, dude. You know.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. We've started to have them down here. It's
In Medford.
in Medford, dude.
Medford, Oregon. It's having sideshows.
Well, yeah. To the best of their abilities. They're the worst kids, though. What are
Fair enough.
you gonna do?
Yeah. So this was great because it's like pretty much everything that had been brought to the track that day is getting rolled back.
Yeah.
it was just like a couple cars going out, and then like somebody who was just staffing the event, like somebody who works at the track, brought out their like Pontiac G8. I was doing rollbacks and like
I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
Blew his diff?
Yeah.
Dylan blew his diff too. Did he use? Dylan's his car needed to be more built for that. Do you remember Dylan's?
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
He does. Yeah, that car is gonna be built here soon.
What a great man.
Dude, truly, like one of my best friends, and I'm like, I feel like friendship and like people that you love is like such a gift. I was going through a real lonely time when those boys popped into my life.
Yeah.
And now they changed it.
Did you meet them on Drift Week?
So I met Dylan on Drift Week because
Wait, hold on. Before we tell this story, fucking Matt pulls up in his Pro-Am car and like no headlights and just fucking throws down like this like nasty rollback into the dirt.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like looking out the back window and everybody's like losing their shit. It was pretty incredible.
I was like, dude, you have to do a dumb, stupid face. And then I'm like so far away from everybody that you can't even see. I'm just like looking out the window like, no. And then but you couldn't see where the edge of the track was. So just everybody was like dropping off. It was a
great time.
It was so fun. It was a lot of fun.
It made me kind of understand.
For sure. The rollbacks I really fuck with.
Yeah. Because like obviously we can all do donuts. You know?
Whoa.
It's not that fucking hard.
Dude, hold on. Yeah. It takes skill, all right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, to be fair, it's a learned skill, but like, you know what I mean? Anyway, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the rollback actually takes a little bit of skill.
That was some of the most fun I've had at a drift event in a long time. But every time the Crash Style boys, just like, I really, yeah.
I saw you throw, I left on Saturday, but I saw Sunday you're throwing some like silly entries into.
Well, and I didn't realize that I was making it because I was on 285, 160 treadwear Velinos.
Yeah.
And I knew that they were grippy, but like they ripped my subframe apart. Yeah. And so I halfway through the day, I was like, oh, my subframe is not in one piece. And then
the one outside.
No, this one, and I don't know where it is, but literally, like, so I was like, dude, I didn't even notice, and somebody was all like, which I have a habit of doing, dude. Like, I don't know why. Like, there has been multiple times where I've broken a shear to rear arm on this car and just driven it and just.
Oh yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
What was that supposed to mean?
You drive around some wonky shit, my dude.
Well, anyways,
Which is a great example of like why that clutch was probably actually a huge problem.
that was so sad. Yeah. Sorry for making you like run over there and get all that.
No, it was humbling. I needed that.
What? Well, so anyway, so like I didn't realize that I was driving with a torn subframe, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, dude, it's been chattering all day," and I'm like, "No, it hasn't." And then I just see video, and it's like on the entry, it's just like, I was like, "Oh no, dude, par for the course."
Yeah. I mean, it looks sick.
Yeah,
Like if you
I appreciate
don't look
it.
at the rear wheel.
Yeah, it was
the-
like had variable toe for sure, and camber and caster and everything else.
Yeah, it was just variable.
Yeah.
Variable rear end.
Yeah, it was just moving around.
Active rear suspension.
Dude, yeah, that's yeah. Oh no.
So Dylan and all those boys that you met on Drift Week, I feel like Drift Week was kind of your like,
That was me getting back into it.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was because Valino hit me up wanting to support somebody local. And so yeah, that was like by far the like because I tried to like quit drifting entirely cuz like I was just had such a bad taste from the people and like just like the way that things went that I was just like, no, I'm only going to drive the mountains for the rest of my life. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, it's like I'd do some cool thing and then I'll be like, I was like, isn't that sweet? And I'd look around and there's just like a mountain lion like sitting over there in the bushes. I'm just like, okay, peace. And then like bounce. And so like, yeah, it was, I will always love the mountains. And it's like, yeah, we'll have to get you up there before you leave out of town here.
Yeah.
But
I would like that.
yeah. Yeah, so I basically I tried to quit track drifting and that was like really like tearing it apart because the other part that was like when I left FD like and I came back then like I lost pretty much like all of my social friends, like all of my friends from like grade school and high school. God. It was a mission for me going to FD to be all like I don't want to change because like I'd like talked to some people who were close to like other drivers and whatnot and they were like, well, they're like, yeah, they're still my buddy. They're like, I mean, of course they've like, you know, changed a little bit, but that's going to happen when you're in the limelight. And I was like,
I don't want that.
No, exactly. And I loved the people in my the thing I value most in my life are like the people that I hold near and dear. And so like you guys and then all of a sudden all of my my whole goal was like I don't want to change. Like if I want to go to FD, you know, whether I succeed or not, like I still want to be the same like kid that my mom remembers or like, you know, the same person that my friends, you know, cared about. And then like right as soon as I quit FD, then like something happened in our social group where literally I lost like all of my friends at like one moment. And so like I like given up on drifting. I had no friends and
Fuck.
yeah, it was just like I just had to go through that period of time. And so like I literally just like spent every day in the mountains, like yeah, whether it be on the gravel or on the tarmac sides, like whatever it was. Yeah. So when all of a sudden I got the opportunity to go to Drift Week, I was like, okay.
And how long
was
this like stint? Like
2
couple
years.
years.
I didn't go drifting for like 2 years. And then well, I wasn't drifting in the mountains. You know, I was just driving around them. I wasn't doing any illegal activity. But
of course not.
and then like I found the C6 and just did an angle kit on that, just a pair of cut knuckles. And yeah, and then I'd been friends with Julian because I was friends with him and Donovan from Sonoma Drift.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was already friends with those boys. And then my friend Cerrone, he was friends with Dylan, and Cerrone needed kind of like a second hand to like just help him out with shit. And so then he brought Dylan and me, and then I remember like we all had met for the first time in this shop. And because, you know, on a trip like that, you're always worried with new people. You're like, oh, are they going to vibe together? Like, is this going to be okay? Are people going to have fun? And like, and it's the first 10 minutes being in here and like the giggles that were happening and like the jokes that were being thrown around, I was like, oh no, like this is literally like the dream right
Yeah,
here.
that was what you needed for.
Well, it was just like, these are like, all of a sudden, like, you know, it was just a gift. Like, it's like, yo, here are these people that you can care about. And yeah, now they're, you know, my closest friends. And because of them, like I went drifting again. And so it was like them that pushed me to go compete for the first time since FD at like LS Fest. And
And you like
we got second. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Ben Hobson got first, bless his heart. Yeah, he killed it. He was in his 14. And then, but yeah, and when we went to Drift Week, it was I had like a genuine moment where I went on track for the first time in the Corvette, and this is at Sportsland and at Villains. And then all of a sudden like their track is like part of a drag strip, and then it's just all empty fields near it. And I remember like the sun was setting, and I like was trying to lie to myself for so long, like being like, well, you don't have to go track drifting like that, like blah, 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 blah. And then like literally I got out of the Corvette, and like I just like walked off into the field, like looking at the sunset, like almost like just teary eyed, just because like I was like, I like have been lying to myself. Like, because I was like, oh, I don't need drifting. And I forgot like how much of an important part it was of me. It's like, and of you. And it's like, and of you. It's like, I don't know, like it's trying to abandon something that's a part of us. That's, yeah. So.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So now we're here for the long run.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as it's legal to do.
Yeah. So we got to get it while we can, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see.
I mean, it seems like you kind of come back with like a force too.
Oh, for sure. Well, because I'm like not trying to, like, FD forces you into a box of like who you got to be, how you got to act. Like, yeah, like a lot of those dudes at FD, like, you know, a part of me, especially like growing, like watching. So like I learned about drifting from like, you know, messing around on like the internet when I was a kid, because like you remember how much of a Wild West it was back then. Like,
yeah.
Oh dude. And so like the flash games, the image boards, just everything. And like, and I would just come across little D1 clips and like stuff like that. And it's like to watch those dudes like have the respect for each other each and every single time, because like you've seen them like wave.
Yeah.
FD, dude, it is impossible to get a majority of those people to wave at you. Like at the line, literally you're like, oh, hey, we're about to enter into that corner at like $110.
Yeah.
We good? Like,
yeah.
And literally you're just so like
fuck you, nerd.
No, for real. They're just like staring out the windshield, and I'm just like, vroom, vroom, vroom. I'm like, hey, like arms out the windshield. No, for
like,
real. And then they're just like, vroom, 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 vroom. I don't know. And it just killed me, dude. I was like, why? Like, what is the purpose? Like, are you? I don't know. So that created like a.
You're good.
What was wrong? Did I do something?
No.
Oh. So like, yeah, I don't know. That like made me sour. I was like, fuck you. Like, what? Just wave at me. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well, and also because a lot of times like my stuff would be acting up, or like somebody else's car, like, you know, wasn't running well. And you'd be like, are you good? Like, I'm bad. And then like they won't look at you. And I'm like, my car is about to explode. Yeah. And then they just won't look at you. And
like, I'm in the fucking zone, brother.
Yeah. I'm like... Yeah, so that stuff killed me. The fact that they'd throw like all the respect and all that stuff like out the window just so they can have their like little 10 seconds of like, I don't know. I don't have that. I don't have that. Like,
yeah, you were there because you wanted to compete, and
I wanted to drive with the best. Like, yeah, that's the reason.
You weren't there to like fuck anybody else over to be the best. You just wanted to like see where you held up and see where you stood and throw down.
Basically, yeah. I just wanted to drive hard. Like, that's, yeah.
Well,
but that's why we're not doing it anymore, because I just want to be surrounded by good people. I don't want to. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting that same feeling that you were chasing when you were younger now?
Oh, for sure.
Because you have that community and like you're going and doing like events because you want to, not because you have to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And this is why I think like, you know, things happen for a reason, because like I'd never gone to a Grid Life event, just because like when you're in FD and you have to budget so much to just go to those 8 events, and that you're just like there's not really any purpose for me to go to other events, like, because I'm going to drive these events. And so like, you know, I would have never gone to Laguna and like done that entry. Like I would have, just.
It was pretty sick, because there was like, all the road racers were like, that guy's fucking nuts, bro.
Dude, the respect from the open wheel community. I got hit up by a Formula E driver, and like me and him chatted a little bit. The the factory rider for Indian motorcycle, like the guy that races the baggers in like the hooligan
sick.
class. Like I was like, dude,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So it's like, and then I'm actually like chatting right now. Like one of the McLaren's photographers like just hit me up, and like we've been yeah, and I'm like, dude, like
You're like, I did 5 years at
I just
FD,
had fun, yeah.
and then you went out into a grid life and went and had fun and did some silly shit, and that got you like way more
Yeah,
good attention than,
for sure. Yeah.
And it's like kind of just makes you think like, you know,
Oh, what are you about to say?
I don't know. It kind of makes you think like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah. What is the point?
Like,
yeah.
I feel like if you're not having fun, and I feel like some people can go to FD and have fun.
It can be done for sure, but you have to have like all that other stress and like all that other stuff going on. And there are some genuinely great people in that field, like like Ben Hobson. Like I think like that, like he's just, you know, I think he's a great dude.
Yeah, he's a nice dude.
And I'm really happy that he is where he is. Denofo was a great guy. Kengushi is another great. Like he's one of the few people I ever had a genuine conversation with on the grid. Mad Mike was actually like a real
cool.
one too.
Yeah.
He like I was like really bummed at Irwindale because I was just driving terribly, and I was like sitting up against the wall, and then like he like went and just like parked his car, and he came up and he just sat next to me, and we had this like whole conversation about like he was just so bummed about like the fact that he had to be in there. Well, I don't know. He wasn't like able to drive 100% that Miata when he was in the vert. And so like he said something, he was like, either I want to win this weekend or I want to total that car out. I don't care. Like, and he is like, but like no other driver on the grid would have taken the time to just come and sit with me in the shade.
Yeah.
Like Daiyo Shihara too. Like those, yeah, very few people, but yeah.
That's cool. He liked my E36 when I first built it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was like, oh, that's cool.
Dude, Dai is a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dai, Ken, some of those people. I'm like, there's so much stuff I want to say, but I'm like, oh, there's a camera looking at me in the face. Yeah. How did you get into drifting? Do your viewers know much about you?
I think people ask me a lot on the podcast because I suck at asking questions, and then the guests usually just turn to me because they're like,
oh, so that happens pretty often?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I haven't really gotten into it in a long time, so I just like I can't remember how I found the word drift, but I do remember like looking up drift on like Kazaa.
Oh.
Like I would just like type drift or drifting into Kazaa, and like random shit would pop up. And like the craziest shit is like I would see this clip from Slide Squad. Like it was this clip from Ibisu like toge course, and I didn't know that it was Ibisu toge course. Like I just
you just thought it was some mountain.
Well, it was like, dude, it was brown dirt and like
Yeah.
a road.
Yeah.
And like later, you know, you like play like, you know, you play it in like R Factor or Seto or whatever, and it's like there's like trees and shit.
Yeah.
And like I found out later that like I didn't know that it was a Slide Squad clip, but then like when I went back in my memory, I remembered the watermark, and then also like Benson Sue like was like, dude, that's toge course before the trees grew. Like.
When was Toge built?
I don't know. But yeah, it used to not have trees. Like they did
I
all that
remember those
elevation.
clips. No, for sure. It looks like a playground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, so yeah, I found it through that. And then I always thought it was like the coolest thing. And then I was at Virgin Superstore. That sounds weird if you don't know what that is.
Well,
you know, like
that's the store I came from.
That's the store. I'm the store manager.
Do you have a membership? I really fuck with.
I'm the assistant manager. I'm working my way up.
Yeah. That's awesome. Good.
Congrats. Yeah. It's where we have our insult meeting. Anyway, it was like a record store. You know, like Virgin Airlines.
Yeah.
Like where no one's a virgin.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Virgin Super. They sold like CDs and shit.
Yeah,
I went there with my friend. And they had like a flyer for FD Sonoma like 2005 or something.
Dude.
And I used to watch it on G4 and stuff. And I went to I went to 2 Sonoma rounds. I think I went to 2005 and 2006.
Okay.
And I like just got my license in 2006, and I was like manging my Mercedes 190E with an open disc in the dirt, like on the way out, and I got yelled at by like event security. And that was the beginning of my beef with Sonoma Drift security or Sonoma security. It's been a
I've had beef with them, but they've also saved my life one time.
It's been like a 20 year battle between me and Sonoma security.
Dude, Sonoma, like, did I ever tell you about the time I almost got like killed there?
No.
Okay. So, like, you know, when I first started showing up to Wednesday nights, like, it was really clean. Like, it had, like, you know, it was just like a lot of like passionate, like, culture-based drifters and whatnot. And then it started to turn more like more pop culture-y, and like in the sense of like I would see like a bunch of stance cars, and like you would look inside of them, they'd have like a bong in the cup holder and stuff like that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, it just became a, you know, the Bay Area vibe. And then it started to like, you know, like pull more of not culture-based people in. And then, so one time when do you remember when they started doing Mayhem layout, where it was like a continuous hot lap?
Yeah. So there's like,
those are dangerous days.
There's some backstory to that. Like it started out as like Julian, like being like, this is how it should be done. And then they like, I don't know how much I should say, but like it was like it was the wish.com version of Mayhem. And then it just turned into.
Oh, you mean in its layout?
Yeah, like they would try, and then Julian would spend a bunch of time like drawing it up on like Photoshop and like put a bunch of work in, and like then he would show up and like try and help him, and they'd just like he'd show up and they'd already have like laid it out, and it's just like,
oh yeah,
like the measurements are wrong, and so like it was like really dangerous. And
I remember,
yeah, like there was like a couple where there was like it's pretty gnarly. Like I remember one where I like
ate a lot of cars.
Yeah, I flicked it like yeah.
It was dangerous.
I flicked one in and like literally was coming back at the wall, and I remember just like clutch dumping, like coming at the wall and pulled away from it, and like people were clapping. I was
dude. I remember. Did you ever spin at the end of the wall and have to look at the sea of cars, just like 50 different lines, like just like it, just
that was
headlights?
The worst part of it.
That was the worst
because it was
part.
Too wide, and everyone would like someone would be monging and someone would be blasting. It was like. It was treacherous. And then the worst part of all of it is then they started doing like the peanut layout, and it was just they started calling it Mayhem instead of Mayhem. And like they never said it right or spelled it right. It was just like me ham or whatever. And like, dude, some of the like it was insane. Like it was like a big peanut, and they would just send like 25 cars, and like it was like good luck everybody else. Like you'd be passing people. It was, dude, it's like the best comparison I think is like it felt like going indoor karting,
basically, like with like 100 cars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was so sketchy. It was so sketchy, and like, dude, and like you're following somebody and you don't know what line they're gonna take, and then someone's going around both of you on the outside. It was,
dude. So that's what. So I was following. I was following Cody. You know Cody.
Yeah. Shout out fucking Cody Rosado.
For real. Like one of
the
such
best
a ripper
dudes on the
driver.
planet.
Yeah, honestly. Like, and yeah, man.
One eye still drives better than
trooper.
99% of the dudes on the planet.
Yeah, like he suffered a pretty horrific accident, and he lost one of his eyes. And like, but it was like a couple months later, or the first time that he went driving again, they won team tandem, him and Demay and them, and like Travis Ragona and whatnot.
Yeah.
Shout out Team Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow. That's the one.
And yeah, so
Stewie
like,
named the team and never doesn't drive.
Shout out Stewie as well, one of the most talented like culture-based like fabricators ever. Like I just bought some Riverside 101s off of him. Nice. I should have shown you those. Yeah, they're 14s. They're like 14 by 10s.
Sick,
dude. They're super sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he had all of his stuff stolen recently.
Really?
All of his wheels and all that stuff out of like a storage unit. He was able to find one set back, but yeah. Such a shame. He is he's collector, like a collector of collectors.
Yeah.
Like his scooters are like full on like $15,000 like race style like mopeds that are. Have you seen his mopeds?
No.
They're so sick, dude. So sick.
I didn't even know I was into that.
Oh yeah, Stewie. And if it's cool, then Stewie's into it.
Yeah,
for sure. So I was following Cody. And we were around the backside, and I'd been following Cody for like a couple laps. So he's so consistent, and so like we were just running the exact same line, and all of a sudden like I was behind him, and it's night out. Like it was dark as hell on the backside. The front side had like all the lights, but the backside, it's treacherous back there.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to go walking alone back there.
There's like
in the
drainage
back of the skid
ditches and
pad.
stuff with like,
Dude, for
like
real.
metal covers and
Dude, things that go bump in the night. But like, so all of a sudden I was following Cody, and then Cody just shallowed up super hard, and I'm like, where are you going? And I like look forward, and there's like a guy that spun like perfectly back, and I was able to like straighten the car so that I just like grazed him like side to side. Like I didn't actually like hit him, and my car was good. Like I was able to drive the rest of the night, and I'm like, oh damn, that sucked. And then all of a sudden, so I was the only person. So the top paddock, like where they did the burnout pad at Winter Jam and stuff like that.
yeah.
You can look down over the whole skid pad, and I was the only person pitted up there because I got there late. And all of a sudden, like, and I go back up there, and I'm in my trailer by myself, like listening to music or something like that. And then all of a sudden, I hear like a heavy knock on the door. And right before that, so I was like had gone to the like when I went up, I was like looking down over the skid pad, and I saw the kid that I had grazed. And you know how you have the road that goes down and then to the skid pad, and then it's like you have like it's like an instant U-turn. Like if you come off the skid pad, like you have to do that U-turn to get up the hill to go up to that paddock.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, and on the outside of that, on the inside of the hill, is that like kind of ditch with just rocks, like fat rocks. And so the kid, like I see him, he's outside of his car, and he's like not stoked, understandably so. And then all of a sudden I see him, like he gets back in his car, and then all of a sudden I just hear this like single cam K just like it like brr, like tries to do a clutch kick around that little U-turn and goes into the ditch. And so he goes into the ditch on the same side that I grazed him on, and he broke a tie rod. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, dang, that sucks. And so I like go back into my trailer, like after seeing this, and then like 10 minutes goes by, and I hear like a heavy knock on the door. And I go and I open up the door, and there's probably like 15 dudes up there, semicircle all the way from wall to wall around my trailer. And they're like, you have to fix this for us, Holmes. And I was like, dude,
What?
literally. And I was like, I don't have a welder. I don't have a tie rod. Like, what do you, they're like, well, we're going to figure something out. And they're literally enclosing on me. And I'm like, okay, we'll figure something out. And I'm like texting my buddies. I'm like, get security up here ASAP. And security had to come up there and like halt them. But literally, like I was going to get like beat like up there because this kid, like his tie rod was not broken when I grazed him. His tie rod broke from him falling into the gravel, like the rock ditch.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't, come down here that often. Like, so I stopped like coming down because like I was like, I'm from Medford, Oregon. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
The
like,
most aggression you see is like from a cow or something like that, or some tweaker nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I think that was kind of part of the reason they had so Sonoma Drift, like that's where I started drifting at. My very first event was at Sonoma Drift. Wednesday nights, I worked at Best Buy. I had Wednesdays off.
Perfect.
I drove my S13.
Were you in the trunk and audio department?
I was the car audio installer. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're Geek Squad?
Oh yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. Sick.
Shout out to all my other Geek Squad kings out there.
Was that back in the day when? Oh no, I'm thinking of Circuit City. Never mind.
I did work at Circuit City too.
In the
I got
audio
fired
department?
from Circuit City though.
Sick. I remember like when I was a child going to Circuit City and seeing the neon underglow like kits that they had.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
I was like, one day I'm gonna put one of those on something.
Yeah, it was me too.
Yeah.
I used to have my mom drop me off at
Same.
electronics stores so I could go look at like car stereos, and I was like 13. I didn't even have
And
a car
you're
yet.
just like some 10-year-old sitting in the back wall with like 10 subs, and you're just like,
yeah, I was like, one day, man,
yeah, for
this is
real.
gonna be me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a car show king, and then you're like actually a driving schooler.
Oh, dude. I think about some of those time period stuff. One of my favorite families out here, they own a burger. It used to be called Yummy Burger, but they just, her mom just passed, so they're going to shut down the store. But the husband of this woman, like they are the greatest people. But like the husband has the most beautiful FD-RX-7 I've ever seen it. I've seen it since I was a child. And he bought it like 25 years ago, and it's on these like period correct BBSs, and everything
Yes.
about how the thing is built, like from the air filter to the little apexy gauge that's in like it's the most beautiful period correct car. But I think back on some of that stuff like from that era, and I'm like, man, what were we doing? Like, will we look at the same, like the neon tubes or like
Well,
just
luckily
any other
we don't
cheap-
have SAFCs anymore and shit like that. Those could die with the past, but like
Dude, there's something out there for everybody. Don't hate.
Well, sorry, guys.
Somebody's really bummed. Unsubscribe right now.
Oh, dude. There's been a lot of unsubscribe moments on this podcast. Don't worry.
Dude, same. Yeah.
Unsubscribe moments in your life.
Dude, when I quit FD and I stopped posting because I didn't care about social media or anything, so I just stopped posting. I think I lost 11,000 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In how long of a window?
2 years. 11,000 people went and they were like, you know
That's
what?
that's 500 followers a month.
Dude, sick. Yeah. But now we're on the up and up, baby.
Yeah. All you had to do was
go have fun.
4,000 mile an hour entry into
No.
Laguna.
I see. We did the calculations, and it was 138 for our gear calculations. But then we just pulled the Motec data, and it was only 136. And I was like bummed. I was like, dude, I'm such a bitch. so this year,
You're like, I had 2 more in it.
no, for real. I was like, yeah, I want to do faster stuff. That was all because of Thunderhill, like just driving at Thunderhill.
Oh yeah,
all the time.
Thunderhill. So like, I think I have a lot of like admiration for NorCal drivers, like Travis Vergona or
Dude, Travis is so good.
yeah, and it's just I think it's because of Thunderhill
For sure.
East. Like Thunderhill
sure.
East has bred some like serious drivers, and it's like hard to film there, and you don't really see clips from it. But like I think just purely,
You really don't.
yeah. Well, it's hard to shoot. It's hard to like get clips, and it's like on board doesn't really like do it justice because the track's so wide. It like looks a lot slower than it is.
Yeah, Kendall. When I took her when I first met her, we did like 130. It was like the same top of fourth gear, like 140 miles an hour. And Kendall was like, "Well, I was bummed we didn't do like at least 100 mile an hour entry." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And it was in the rain too. We were literally in the rain, and she, yeah. No, so you're right. Like
She's hard to impress.
You can be in the car. She needs to learn how to impress herself. When you can be in the car and like be doing 140 on the entry and enter before pit lane wall ends, and you still don't even think you're doing 100.
Yeah.
And so like I have like Luke Longberger to thank for that because like he helped me build this car.
Yeah.
And so then we would go to Thunderhill.
Dude, that's a name you haven't heard in a long time.
Forever. But he was such a he was a really talented C6 driver. He was
like the vet OG in FD, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was he the first one to bring a vet to FD?
I think so. And that
No.
because you had the RSR C5 that like Pfeiffer was in.
Oh, yeah.
That car was owned by I don't want to get into all this. That car was owned by a family that's like really prominent in the racing industry. And it was also like when that car went to Long Beach, it also like drove the actual GT portion as well. Like the next couple days, there's like so much wild, dude. All those old cars, they had so much history in them. Yeah,
Interesting.
Super interesting. So Corvettes, they're fun. Have you ever driven one?
I drove Matt Madrigali's like 260,000 mile C6 5. What's the one with like
Matt had one?
Madrigali? Yeah, he sold it, and now it goes to sideshows.
You're not talking about a C7, are you?
No.
Because he had a gorgeous like Z06.
Yeah. He told me I could drive that, and then he sold it before I could drive it.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
Yeah,
those cars are amazing.
Yeah, he said it was like amazing, but
so you've drifted one?
Yeah, I drove it at Sonoma, I drove it at Good Luck League. But it was like, I was like, dude, this thing drives really good.
Dude, they're
it was like coilovers and like knuckles.
Same. Mine it's literally a cut knuckles, and like dude, they like it's the only car where you could literally theoretically, none of this has ever happened, but you could like drift because like those mountains, when you guys go up there, so you have the mountain face, and then like up that whole region is more plateau. So it's like it's a more common like large elevation with not too much like like actual true mountain faces, and so like you can hit the bottom of the mountains here, literally drift the whole road like all the way up to the plateaus, and then like do a buck theoretically. Like
I just picture you like cigarette in hand, like hair blowing in the wind.
I won't smoke in my car. I don't smoke cigarettes.
Oh, okay.
And like the what the fuck? So yeah, and then you could do like 160 theoretically AI generated. across the plateaus and like one hand on the wheel, like just music going, AC is ripping, like oil temp 320, but
it's LS, brother.
Well, so I learned that the oil pumps
temp.
like apparently they burn something happens with the factory oil pumps where they burn against the housing and superheat the oil that way. And so literally I just have cruised that car before and I'm like, wow, what a nice, like cool day. And like not even driving hard. And then all of a sudden, like just like 300-degree oil temp.
Well, the nice part is they have a factory oil temp gauge.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Real nice.
It's a good thing they put that in there because otherwise you'd have no idea your oil temp is
I really wish I didn't know.
400 degrees.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
But great cars. Great cars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, LSs have proven themselves in drifting, that's for sure.
It's just such a good platform. This car, the fact that we put that motor in there 10 years ago and it has have you ever looked at the odometer?
No.
So it has so for my Speedo, I have GPS. Yeah. So it's reading actual distance speed. It's not reading from the wheels. And that, my little speedometer has a little odometer on it. And so from the moment I put that car together, like it's been reading mileage. And so like, but distance mileage, not wheel mileage. And so that car right now claims that it has 1,500 drifted miles. So literally that car coming out of the trailer and just driving on track and going back in, like
1,500 miles.
That car has literally mangied from the Canadian to the Mexican border. Like if you think about it, like, and then some. Like, and so though, dude, the platform's just so good. As long as you have your oiling system figured out, like it'll last literally forever.
Wow.
And that's just an intake, some double comb springs, a K-Tech cam, a really mild one. And it made like 600 wheel. And so they're so awesome. Yeah. Oh God, that car is ugly. It needs that car needs a refresh.
It needs a little bit of a refresh.
It literally looks like a totaled car right now.
Yeah, you can't see it. It's off. No. It's off camera, but the windshield shattered, all the doors, fenders. It just needs some love.
Yeah, there's so many memories on it. I wanna save the door. I want to take that off here soon. And then I want to save the windshield because it has all of my Pro-Am banners on it. But for those people that don't know, my very first entry at Grange, I was like, I've always wanted to drive here, literally like as fast as I possibly could, probably doing like 85 or so. And then like as soon as I entered, it just sheared both of my hood pins and it just like my hood hit my roof so hard that it literally like smashed my roof, like and hit me in the helmet. Like it was pretty wild.
Yeah, at least your roof scoop's okay.
It's not.
Was the roof scoop damaged?
It's pretty banged up. Have you not seen it? I had to pull a lot of Bondo off the top of it because it just broke off in like one giant piece. Yeah, it needs some work.
I feel that heavy. My car's not a real slick top. The guy I bought it from like welded the factory sunroof to the roof skin, and when my hood flew up, it released all the Bondo around the factory.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear about that.
That's okay.
You'll find a way.
Yeah, I'll find a way. I'll fix it. I will add more Bondo.
Oh man, yeah. What are you gonna do?
A lot of sanding.
Yeah. Well, what else should we talk about?
I'm kind of curious, like what your goals are with drifting nowadays.
That's actually something I'm like in the middle of right now because, when you're going after FD, and I feel like this like applies to all human beings. It's like you need a goal and like a purpose of what you're doing. And like nowadays, my goal is just to like, be around people that I love and like have fun and love the sport. But that's not a goal. Like before, my goal was like, that cup. Like I want one of those carbon cups for FD. But then, as that dream faded, like I just have no goal now. And so I guess, I don't know. I don't know. I just really just for right now, like I just want to have fun. I just want to put a program back together that like, makes people want to be a part of it before like people would just like see my results in FD and they would just be like, like, sure, we can give you a discount or some products, but it is like just wouldn't turn really into anything. And so, but now it's getting to a point where it's like people want to be on board. Like Haltech just stepped up and they literally just sent me like a full wiring harness for their new system that's basically a plug and play for LS systems. And so it's like a full ECU, like dash, like wiring harness, all that stuff. Super, super easy, affordable, and like plug and play. But so like they hit us up. They wanted to be on board. And so like, yeah. And Ray's like, you know, they'll always like, that's like my family. Like,
That's a pretty cool sponsor to have.
that is like, well, and I like genuinely like love those people. Like, yeah, oh man, I want to name drop them, but I don't at the same time. Cause I don't want people to just like hit them up nonstop. But, no, like genuinely,
They'll know
like,
who they are.
I hug those people. Like, yeah, they're literally just like, whatever you're doing, like we want to be a part of it. Like it doesn't matter. And that was when I dropped out of FD. They're like, and I was like, dude, I'm not going to be there anymore. And they're just like, yeah, no matter what you want to do, like we'll be there. And
That's
so it's
so
like
cool.
so cool, like such a blessing. I think about that all the time. Yeah.
Do you think so now that you're building the car that you want and you're able to drive it the way that you want and at the events that you want, I think your driving's become a lot more, I don't know, I don't want to say like impressive, but like, do you think that I feel like that's
No, for sure.
Like, do you think that, I don't know.
I know what you're saying. No, for sure. Well, and that's what I'd say about the FD box. And there was like when I went to LS Fest, I don't want to say who, but like another pro, and this is like why I say I don't have any like really very many friends there. There was like another pro there. Oh yeah, Rome, who's another person who's actually a real one at Formula D. I was just thinking about him because of LS Fest, but a different pro. Like when I had taken the podium, like I like went up to him and I was like, yeah, dude, like I'm stoked, and they like were not stoked at all. Like they like the face that they had on was just like as cold as could be. There, I was like, dude, like sick, right? And then he was like, yeah, you're driving a lot harder nowadays. And I was just like, oh man, like I was like,
ouch.
no, and I was like, dude, this is the first time. I didn't say this, but I was like, this is the first time you're seeing me in a car that's much more like on par,
Drivable.
yeah. And on par with everybody. Because like, so the Roush motor, like this car, even though it was so sick, and the Roush motor was awesome in the sense of how it sounded and its cool factor, like it makes 1,000 horsepower, but at the top where the engine wants to sing, it only makes like 400 foot-pounds at the crank. And I say that to people and they're like, what the, like, there's no way. And it's like, but people don't realize like how much I was like over driving my shit just to be able to like barely keep up at FD. And so it's like, nobody's ever seen me.
Like, what is that motor designed to do?
NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like 11,000 RPM, making 1,000 horsepower at like 200 foot-pounds is like what those, yeah.
I see.
They're just like, it's not good for drifting. Like in like the RTR team, like so mine's a 410, they're running 460s or 450s or something like that, and they're on like a 450 shot of NOS. And so it's like they just don't make that much torque. And even when I mentioned it to one of their drivers this year, they were like, "Are you going to come back?" And I was like, "No, probably not, especially not with the Roush motor." I was like, "It just doesn't make torque." And like one of their drivers, who's like a big name, literally like turned and looked at their car and was like, tell me about it. Like I know. And they were running a 400 shot. And so it's like me just NA. It was just like it sounded sick, but it's just like, just didn't have anything of what you need. Like I remember the last time that we were at the engine dyno with my tuner, John Reed, and he literally like, we looked at the numbers and it was like 400 crank foot-pounds, like up at the top. And the guy who built the engines, who was real proud of himself, he was like, that's 60. It made 460. And that was on the NOS motor over there that I'll tell you about that. But he was like, yeah, that's 60 foot-pounds more than we've ever made there. And I'm just like,
fuck my life.
You know, for real. And then John Reed, my like super talented tuner, he just looks at me and he was like, Turk makes 800 foot-pounds or like 900 foot-pounds bouncing limiter at the wheel. And then so like he just basically like, dude, we're wasting our time with the setup. And so then I built that.
What do you do in that situation? Like,
you go to FD and you lose. Like that's
like, but like, I don't know. I don't want to.
No, go ahead. I want to hear.
Like, you have these people around you, and like, I'm sure people are going to be like thinking like, well, why didn't you just fire them? Like,
for sure. For sure. And well, I was like super young. And also like I didn't have like a list of good, capable people. It's like when it comes to,
you're like, these are the people I know, let's just try and make it work. Like, this is the setup we have. I'll just try and drive around it.
Yeah, for sure. And then like my one chief was doing my suspension setup for all of those years, and the car was just, and he came from open wheel racing, and so like he was really talented when it came to cosmetic stuff, like doing fiberglass work, wiring, diagnosis, like things like that. But he was not an amazing suspension developer. And so like the first year that I had somebody who was real with suspension development was Dave from Togue Factory in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he said,
were you on stance?
No, but he was working with Alec. And Alec was on stance and Alec was on our truck. And so like, then I was like, well, do you just want a spot for us at the same time? And then like as soon as Dave like got a hold of that car and I finally like had somebody real like doing the like suspension setup, instantly we started that year in 6th place and like almost would have had a podium at Long Beach if our butterflies just weren't adjusted right, so the car would stall itself if it brought to idle speed. And went to 6th, was able to hold 10th like all the way like to 10th place like for the whole season. We had tied James Dean for first place qualifying in Texas, like a bunch of like 4th places. It was like my first good year.
Yeah, suspension's fucking important.
Yeah, super important, especially having somebody who like knows what they're doing. And I just wasn't a suspension guy during that time. Like,
yeah.
Oh gosh, I rabbit trail really hard. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, you just lose at FD is like the whole game. Yeah.
I was asking about like why you couldn't just fire people and move.
Yeah, I just didn't have the correct people around me.
I think that's like the crazy part of it is like, how do you at 20 like make those decisions? And
it was really sad because like the confliction between like me and the person who was like running all my stuff, like the guy who like wouldn't let me have like a proper clutch and stuff, like it got to the point where things were so bitter between us because I would be like, dude, the car is just junk. Like, and
he'd be like, you're not driving.
He was like,
right?
You just don't know what you're doing. And like it got
so there was no trust there. And
it even got to the point where like some of my sponsors, like after he finally left the team and for the last 2 years, like some of my sponsors, when I told them, they're like, that guy was not for you at all. And then they'd be like, I had 2 different sponsors actually tell me, hey, like, I think that guy was actively sabotaging you. And so like, it was just like, yeah, I don't know.
Would you ever go back
to FD?
Yeah.
If I had the right people, which I do right now with like, Dylan and Julian and our friend Ian, which
is crazy because those are just like dudes who
kids.
drift.
Yeah. Kids. We're almost 40. God.
No, you're not.
All right, they are like.
No, they're not.
Dumais is like 34, about to turn
That's
like
not
35.
Almost 40. I'm 34.
Okay.
I'm not circling the drain yet.
No, well, we're definitely not circling the drain. Like, we're gonna be the most like fucked up like 50 and 60-year-olds on the planet. But yeah,
like I love drifting, and that's what I'm here for.
Basically,
back in my day,
dude, for real. But it is like that talking about it sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. It's just things happen like in my life. I just feel like things happen for a reason, and I don't like complain about it. Like, it's just like things went the way that they did, and like that was it. I just wasn't meant to be there, and like I'm okay with that now. Like, yeah, once you finally step away like from talk, I think a lot of people don't realize like when they're in a toxic situation, like they don't realize it. Like there was another thing, like the friends that I lost, like I was like, these are my old childhood best friends, like what am I gonna do? Like these are my family. And then all of a sudden, like, but you're blinded by like nostalgia, and like you're blinded by like not a greed, but like I don't know how to describe it. Like you're blinded by what you want to see, and then all of a sudden you find like real friends, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, like I was hanging around like shitty people for like my whole life.
I went through that.
Yeah, I feel like everybody does.
I went through that when I was like, I think I was like 17. I was hanging around some fucking really bad people.
Sick.
And I like didn't realize like.
Was this the girl that was floating above the bed?
Oh, the one that said demonic shit
the goth,
in her
goth
sleep?
girl?
No, that was later. I didn't.
So was she speaking in tongues, or was she? I'm fascinated about this stuff. Let me hear it.
she would just say like evil shit. Like I don't have like a good example. Like she wasn't like possessed, you know. It wasn't like a weird.
Okay.
It wasn't like a horror movie, but it was just like I don't know, like stuff that shouldn't come out of people's mouths.
Okay. All right. We don't have to talk about it, especially.
I don't know.
on a
Yeah, I don't have
podcast.
any like detail. I don't want to get into the details, but it was. It should have been a red flag, you know. I'll leave it there. Like that was a precursor to like
Okay.
the other demons, you know. Those demons were trying to get out, dude.
Dude,
And they did
always.
in ways, but not in that way.
I heard you like tires. I like tires too. That's why I go to Tire Streets and I get myself a heaping pile of tires, just load them up in the back of my truck and just load them, take them to the track. And that's when I do my tire load, and I'll burn them up. I burn up them tires, and that's why I love horsepower, because I be going through them, and it's a good time. So go ahead and click the link down below, and it'll take you to a website there, and you just load that cart. You just load that freaking cart. You buy up all the tires they got, and you gonna spin them. You gonna burn them up, and you go back and you buy more tires, and that's how it works. And you know, that's how you feel good. That's how you feel good in life. That's how you get away from your demons. And we don't like demons around here, so go ahead and check out Tire Streets. And if they're not having a sale, go ahead and put in that Goodest 651. Save yourself 20% off on the 651 tires, and Goodest 15 for everything else on the side there. And we appreciate y'all. Thank you.
I've just been fucking up talking today.
No, that's not true.
I had to like impress Laura's mom.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
This weekend? So I'm like already like
Was it
trying
good?
my best.
Was she hyped? Was she impressed?
Cool.
I didn't like that. Wasn't enough
Yeah,
answer
I
for me.
think
I didn't
so.
like
It was
that.
not a
yeah.
good one.
If I was Palmer, I'd be self-conscious right now.
Yeah, I guess we'll hear. You're gonna go on a hike tomorrow, so
Are you guys going hiking?
her and her mom are. I have to
Oh,
work.
Where? You know the mountains are. Oh, the mountains are kind of snowy right now. I know. We almost got stuck, me and Julian and them.
Driving.
Yeah, just like they didn't know because I was so like quiet about it. But like we just came around this one corner and it was just like instant like 7 inches of like deep late snow, like late season snow. So it's like fresh on top, but it's like ice at the very bottom of it. And so like almost slid off the hill. And then like I quickly turned off traction control and then like it barely made it back up onto the road. And then I was like, yeah, we almost didn't make it out of the mountains. I've done that a lot in my life. Like literally gotten stuck. There's been so many times, like the region that you guys are gonna go see when you go see her friend. Like literally, I think I've gotten stuck like 14 times out there, and I'll be like 5 or 6 or 7 miles deep, and just like, okay, well, let's start hiking back, and then like you just hike through the wilderness, and like the cold of night, snow coming down, like you're just like,
Because you get a car stuck.
yeah. It's every single time I have a little voice in my head, and people who live near the mountains and go into snow probably know this, but I have a little voice in my head every time I've come across a road that is slightly snowy, and I'm like, I'll have a little voice in my head that is like, don't do it, don't go. And every time I've ignored that voice, I've gotten stuck every single time.
Yeah. Wait, so you walk back 7 miles?
Yes. I think the farthest we've ever gone back is like 14 miles. And like,
What do? You just go get a car to pull it out, or get a truck to like pull it out?
I like call my mom at 4 a.m. I'm like, Mom, come get us, please. And then like she'll come up there and like get us. And like, dude, we'll have just like literally wandered through the forest, like in the snow, like to the knee deep, like not sure where we are, just like no flashlight, nothing.
You once compared Southern Oregon to like the Japanese countryside.
Well, it basically,
and I kind of felt that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Oregon's like sister cities as far as climate and like other stuff goes, like are in Japan, and also I think we're on the same latitude or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I think theirs is a lot more humid, and they have like the murder hornets and stuff.
I mean, I've seen them.
What?
Yeah, they got them at Mahon.
No way.
Yeah.
You play
The
with them?
big boys? Dude, they're scary.
I'm
when
sure.
When one buzzes by your head, you're like I'm this is it. Like it's over.
Like just that Credence song starts playing, you just start like
Yeah.
Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah.
They're scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been to Japan?
3 times.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
You do any like weeb stuff while you're there?
I went to Akihabara. That's like where the video games and shit.
Oh.
I don't know. I usually just go.
Is it that super cool arcade with the sick entrance that got?
Akihabara is like the fucking nerd area.
Oh, okay.
There's like
Okay.
I went to like a 7-story sex shop. That was cool.
7 stories.
7 stories, but the stories are really short.
Wow.
It was like little tiny rooms for 7 stories. So I was like, this is just like a regular store.
They wouldn't let me pass the front door. I promise.
Why?
Well, because they're like, no virgins allowed. Well, don't judge me.
Sorry.
It's fine.
I thought you were kidding.
Nah.
Oh.
No, for sure. I'm totally not a virgin.
Nice.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not.
It doesn't matter.
I've heard rumors.
Please no. Please no.
I've heard stories.
Are you talking about the Boba's tea story?
No, but can we hear that one?
No. That was like one of the saddest days. That was like truly when I like died inside. I don't want to talk about the Boba situation.
Okay.
After the cameras are done, I'll tell you about it, but it's literally like the saddest thing that ever happened to somebody.
Speaking of sad things that happened to somebody, can you tell me the story about breaking your arms?
Oh.
And like that was like a big reason why you
See, it used to be that used to be a sad story, but nowadays it's almost like a point of blessing.
Well, you told me, and it was like you're a good storyteller, so it was really interesting.
Thank you. Well, so like we were at St. Louis, and we had a one more time against James Dean. I should have lost the first battle going back and watching it, so save me all that sort of stuff. But so like one more time's James Dean, and I actually have a sick photo that maybe I'll send to you. Do you guys put like a photo like right up in the middle of a podcast? Is that a thing?
We can.
So, and Laura will fuck with this, but like, so I play with cameras every once in a while, and we do a lot of like film stuff because like
one of the first times I hung out with you pulled a like medium format camera out of your
I got a
sweater.
Hasselblad in Canada for like $380.
Yeah,
which
you
they're normally
pulled
like
it out of your
£1,200.
like Carhartt fucking front pocket. I was like, what the fuck? Who is this guy?
Yeah, well, so I had a little point and shoot, like a little 35 mil camera, and all of a sudden, like it was the one more time, and we were gonna have to go back out, and I could like feel this like. I don't know how to describe it. Just like it wasn't like any other battle. I was like, wow, something about this is like really important. Like, and I knew I was gonna lose, like, because it's James Dean, like, such a ripper.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm not going out there against James to expect to win, but it's like it's just an honor.
You just want to put on a show.
It's just an honor to drive against these dudes. Like, and so like I was just hyped. I was hyped about being able to be out there with them. And then all of a sudden, like. I was about to go jump in the car. They're like, "You got to go back like right now." And then all of a sudden, I was like, "Yeah." And I like went to jump back in the car, and I looked over at the bed of the truck, and my little tiny point and shoot was sitting there, and I was like, "Fuck!" And I like ran over real quick to grab my point and shoot, and I brought it with me in the car. I'm like fully strapped up. I think James was leading first, and so I like literally on the line, like fully belted in, full everything. I reached over and I grabbed my point and shoot. And out I don't know why, like there's something in my brain that I was like, this is an important fucking moment that you have to take a picture of this. And so literally like, so I have a picture, and if you guys want, like you could toss it up right here, but it's a picture of literally straight out the front of my, like I took it through the visor of my helmet, and it's like literally over my wheel, like through the dash, you can see the stack intake, and it's just down the line, like down the cones, like, and then the track, and then I just took my camera and I just tossed it, and then then it was like go, and then I I was like just so happy about it. Like, and we had so much fun, and we, me and my reckless team members, we blew a motor on our rental car.
Oh my God,
which
please tell this story. I've heard this story. This is the best fucking story ever.
Well, so we just messed with rental cars. I don't know why that we did it. I feel like a bad person now because like those cars eventually become somebody's used car. So oh God, so it was like one of the, this is not a rental car. This is our friend's car. So basically like we had this brand new Ford Ranger that had like one of the turbo EcoBoost motors in it. And we looked at the wastegate, and the wastegate was like to open the gate, it would plunge. Like it was like a solenoid with like an arm that would plunge into the actual wastegate housing for its actuation. And so we're like, well, if we just like clamp it, like right at the very beginning of the beginning
Plunger.
portion of the arm, like it won't actuate. And so like at first we did it just to make cool sounds in the pits, like so we could like bounce this thing off limiter and make turbo sounds. And then all of a sudden we're like, well, we might as well drive it home like this because like, dude, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
And then so
30, 40 pounds.
So I wasn't in the truck. I was in the truck behind him. So I just see this Ford Ranger turning right out of the track. And literally I just see a light first. And then I hear it like, I barely hear the thing like grab second gear, and I just see it light all of second gear, and I see this truck just gaining speed and fishtailing into the distance, and then they grab third, and you just see, and literally it just like windowed both sides of the block like when they grab third, and then and then these are the same guys that did the wheelie up the hill at Atlanta in front of to Andy Luck, and then so like we're sitting on the side of the highway. And like my whole team, like everybody's got our shirts on and everything. The Achilles team literally like drove past us. They were like, we don't want to be a part of any of this.
Yeah.
Everybody abandons us.
And you're on their tires at the time.
Huh? Yeah, I'm on there. Yeah.
And, like, yeah, you fucking idiots are on your own.
No, for real. And then so all of a sudden, my guy Wyatt, which I really miss those guys. I need to reach out to him, but. Wyatt gets on the phone with the rental car company, basically demanding another vehicle immediately because we just lost the engine on this. How dare you guys sell it, like rent us a car that loses the engine? And then so all of a sudden he's a Youper. Do you know what a Youper is? No. A Youper is an Upper Peninsula from Michigan, so they basically are Canadians, and they speak like it too. And so White's on the phone. He's a hockey player and a bouncer, and he's a crazy kid. He's on the phone with her, and he was like, no, it's done. I promise you, this thing is done. There's no way that we're driving this thing anywhere. And then so
that was a really good way.
Well, and so, dude, it's just like, yeah. So all of a sudden, like he just goes, oh, listen to this, and puts the woman on speakerphone. She's like, please, would you just like start the car for me? And he was like, I'm telling you, this thing is not doing good. And then she was like, just start the car and let me hear it. And he goes, fine, fuck it, okay. And he just gets in the car and puts the phone on the windshield and like foot to the floor, key on. And you just hear this thing like, and then you hear the lady, shut it off. Don't. And like, he was like, what did I tell you? It's broken. And like, sure enough, then, dude, and my poor mom, like she was like worries the most about everything. Like she was at the event and all of a sudden we pull up to the pits in a different rental car than we left with the night before. And she had a heart attack on the spot. And she's like, what happened? He's like, don't worry about it, D. Like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. And so, yeah, that was like...
Did they just bring you another one?
Yeah, they just brought us another car.
They like towed the other one?
Yeah, tow that broken piece of garbage out of here.
They're like, we really got to stop getting these Fords.
No, for real, dude. Like, gosh. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyways, so like we had a great time. Like, I was hyped about the battle with James Dean. Hyped about how much fun we had with the rental car. And then
you're like, I'm having fun.
I was having fun. Like that's all I care about. And then all of a sudden, like the next day, like their flights weren't till like midday. And so we like went to the city and we like went riding around on the stupid Lime scooters.
Which is riding around on crime scooters with your friends is
the best. So I was having so much fun. I was like, dude, like we just did it one more time against James Dean. Can you believe this? Like I was just having a great, like I'd never been so happy to lose. And and then all of a sudden, like I had stored the truck and trailer the trailer in a lot that was across the street from the track. And I had the hotel room for one more night because the boys didn't fly out to like midday that day. And so I was like, I'll just hang out with them, stay one more night. And then all of a sudden, like it got to like I took them to the airport and it got to like 9 o'clock at night. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, well, man, I could just sit here and like, you know, just like watch a show and just, you know, get enough rest for my drive back to Oregon tomorrow. Cause I would drive by myself. And then all of a sudden I was like, dude, I was having so much fun on those scooters. Yeah, I'm just going to go back out. And I had seen earlier that day in St. Louis, there's this thing that they call the cannery, which is like, they have their Union Station, train station, and then connected to it is this giant awning. And it's literally like, it's huge, this place. Like it has a whole like lake underneath it, as well as like a couple storefronts and then a restaurant. It's huge. And I really don't know what it is. It's a historic structure of some sort. But all of a sudden I was like, there's that restaurant there. Like I'll ride my way through the city to that restaurant. And then and then I'll get a cab back to where I'd parked the truck. And I'm just going to keep having a good time. And then me being from here in Medford, Oregon, it's safe here. Like you can go out in downtown at 2 o'clock in the morning and nobody's going to bother you. Like there's nobody around. It's safe. And so me being ignorant in that sense, just going out into, you know, a city like St. Louis alone on a scooter, like probably wasn't the best idea. And so like, I noticed like either early 2000s or like a late 90s Explorer, on like 28s or something like that with like, you know, two 12s in the back of it. Like I could hear it. And all of a sudden I noticed like I would go down one-way streets and I would notice that this SUV was tailing me. Like, and I would like rip through a park. It would like go around and it would just, this truck was chasing me through the city. And all of a sudden I get to the cannery, which is like the big building. And there's one side. So I had earlier that day gone down the one side. We had been there and that's how I knew about the place. And one side had no streetlights and the other side did. And it was right next to where because it's no walls. It's basically just a roof. Like, and so it's like open on all ends. And so I was like, well, I'm going to ride down the street with lights on it because like I'm afraid. And then like that'll spit me right there by the entrance of the restaurant. And so I like went around the Union Station, went down the backside, and then pulled into this little tiny like what would have been a parking lot with no walls in between, and I could walk right to the restaurant. They were doing construction there, and they had fenced off the whole area. So I went in there, realized I was stuck in a dead end, and then all of a sudden I turn and I look back towards the entrance, and I can hear like bass, like some subs beating, and then all of a sudden I'm like, this is literally my only way out. Like the way that they're coming in, and like as I hear it, all of a sudden like I start to like pump and like give her full throttle, like all of like half a horsepower that the thing was making, and then like I'm like all I can do is literally like ride up against the wall, and that's it. And so all of a sudden I see that SUV just like pull into the lot, and then they see me like right there at the edge, and they turned at the last second, like tried to push me in between the wall and like their bumper, and it like grazed me, and so I like literally like double lined it like right in between them. So they almost got me. And then like they at that point were in a little alleyway. So then I like got past them, immediately like hit a sweet rear brake skid like around the corner, and then just like ripped off. And that was the last time I saw them. And so then I ripped around the front of the building, ripped around to the other side. And there's a little, like, I finally like make it into the parking lot, because like a big section under this awning is a parking lot. And I had literally, you've ridden things on two wheels, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're dedicated to a line through something, it's like, you know, that's your line. Like you're not really going to deviate from it too much. And so I remember literally riding through that same little tiny parking lot and riding a specific line. And I remember earlier in the day having to bunny hop over a hole. And so at nighttime, I went ripping through there on the exact same line, looking over my shoulder to see if they were still behind me, and then just boom, right the front end into that fat hole that I bunny hopped over that day. And then it just launched me over the handlebars. And when it stuck in the hole, it kicked my legs up. So I basically like Superman through the air. And I was wearing cloth gloves, like cloth mechanics gloves instead of leather. So it's like, so when I put my arms out and when I hit the ground first, and I was probably doing like 20 miles an hour. And then, so when I hit the ground, my hands just stopped. Yeah. And so took all the bones on this side of my wrist, flipped it upside down, took this pinky and bent it over, and it was touching my middle finger. And I had never broken anything before, really. And so and then my face, I slid on my face for like probably like in like a scorpion, like you know, like when you see some. So literally, basically a scorpion with my feet touching my head, like breaking on my face. And at this point, and I had, you know, did all the stuff in my wrist. It spiral fractured this bone. And so like literally I ground on my face, like came to a halt, immediately like pushed myself off the ground, and there was like 5 different streams of blood coming off my face. And my teeth, my upper row of teeth went through my lip. And I felt them grind on the tarmac. And so literally I when I pushed myself off the ground, I was like, oh dude. And like literally like leaking from multiple parts of my face. And I'm looking around, and I looked back to the entrance. I'm like, okay, they're still not there. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, dude, you have to go to the hospital. And I was like, but I cannot leave here without all my teeth. And so I'm like looking around on the ground. I'm like, where are my teeth? Where are my teeth? Where are my teeth? And then all of a sudden I like feel in my face, and I'm like, oh, I still have my teeth. And then so I like, all of a sudden, people that were in the parking lot of the restaurant saw this, and they start coming over to me. Nowadays, I assume that they were trying to help, but I was in such a fight or flight mode at that point in time that I was like, dude, I got to get the fuck out of here. So in my brain, I couldn't grab my phone though, because my arm was super fucked up. And I didn't realize just how it was, but I was like, okay, maybe I can ride back. There was a valet desk at the Union Station, like at the very front of the building. And I was like, if I can make my way back to him, he can call the cops for me. And then all of a sudden I see that there's people like on their way over. I'm like, dude, I ain't sticking around. I look down, and I see that it didn't hurt, but my pinky was touching my middle finger, and I could like move it up and down and tap my knuckle on my middle finger. And I was like, oh no. And then like pulled my glove off. It almost threw up on the spot. And then because I'd never seen my bones like going in wrong directions. And then all of a sudden I reach down and I grab the scooter and I start pumping. And all of a sudden I'm like, ow. And I look over, and my arm and my hand on the grip are like going in 2 totally separate directions. And I go, oh no. And I just toss the scooter down, and I go walking through the darkness down this non-lit section. And I'm just like, and there's this poor woman coming down the way too. And she's like, I could tell just by the sheer look of me, like, cause I'm moaning, my bones are in not the right places. And I'm like leaking profusely out of my face. Like literally my whole face was like a horror film. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to scare this woman. So I like went into the middle of the street to walk as far away from her as possible, so I didn't scare her. And then I went back to...
That's like the most Matt Kaufman thing I've ever heard.
Well, because like this woman, she literally thinks a zombie is like, well, I don't, dude. So all of a sudden, then I make my way over to the booth, like, and the guy at the parking thing, he just saw me rip past 2 times on a scooter, like once this way, once another way, and then all of a sudden I come limping back, just like
bloody,
literally.
So he knows what happened.
Oh, and I'm like, dude, can you call me an ambulance, please? And he's like, yeah, I got you. And like, so he calls me an ambulance, and they're having some sort of event. Like when you go into their Union Station, it's like really grand. It's like, you know, has a huge, like, you know, big dome section, all like marble and like all this sorts of stuff. And this is like one of the most weird, like artistic moments of my life because like, so they didn't want me to sit outside so that all the guests wouldn't see a bloodied like human, like just sitting there smoking. I don't smoke. All of a sudden, like the manager guy, he was like, what's the deal? And he was like, come on, like come inside. And so all of a sudden I enter inside to like the Union Station, and he was like, just have a seat down here on this like 1940s era, like Victorian couch. And like he was like, just sit down here and wait for the ambulance down here. And they were playing live jazz music. And I literally I knew that it was all over. Like I knew the drifting was over. I knew I had lost everything in that one moment. And all of a sudden I was sitting in this like grand foyer looking at this like gorgeous white marble on the ground, just with my blood just like pooling on it. And I'm just sitting there listening to this jazz music like echoing through the halls. And I'm just like, everything that like I ever worked for is gone. Like this is it. And then like I went into the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, holy, and like just went back outside and just sat there and let my blood pool on this white marble. And then all of a sudden I went to the hospital that night. Yeah. And then I had to fly back. I had to have somebody else fly out and like take the truck back home. And it was like truly weird. But I still hold on to the idea that like, you know, shit happens for a reason. And so it's like I didn't argue against it. It was a weird life building, character building time of my life. And so I used to be upset about it, but no, I'm not. Like it was almost a blessing in a certain sense. Cause like if you talk to a lot of those dudes at FD, like they're not happy. Like with how much effort they have to put into it, how much money they're spending, like their livelihoods, like their future that they could have had for their children or whatever is like going into this sport.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that could have been me. Like I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, and if anyone knows any James Dean fans in St. Louis that drive a 2000 Ford Expedition.
I know. Everybody was like, they were probably just some fans. I was like, no, dude. No. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But the fact that
if they were fans, I don't think they'd be trying to crush you into a wall.
They just, yeah. Who knows?
They missed the autograph session and they were fucking gutted.
Yeah. Dude. It was wild. It was eye-opening for me. Like I was a fool for trying to go out there that time of night. And then even when I went to the hospital, they're like, honestly, they're like, when I described it to them, they kill lone tourists out here. They're like, if they find you like roaming around at nighttime, they're like, they'll kill you. They'll take your shit. Like, and so St. Louis is no joke at all. We found multiple Lime scooters there's a bridge there that's like completely decommissioned and we just rode out onto it. Yeah. And like, dude, halfway down it, there was another Lime scooter there that was like busted, but it was covered in blood. Like it looked like somebody has like used the scooter to like beat somebody to death and just like toss them in the river or something. Like, dude, St. Louis is like, there were so many places that we found like splatters of blood. It's wild.
Yeah, maybe that would have been a good sign to not go out later at night.
Gateway to the West. Yeah. Well, I was just like, I'm just trying to have a good time. Like
Yeah. You're finally having a good time.
Yeah. No, for real.
And you're like, let's fucking ride this out.
Yeah, for real. And
let's Lime scooter ride this out.
Dude, such a mistake. And then that's when I decided to get into motorcycles because like I was afraid to like get back on one of those scooters and like, and you know, this is a tiny little town here, but then somebody brought Birds here. And so all of a sudden like Birds the scooters.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden like here,
because there were birds here before humans probably.
Flying birds?
Yeah. Depending on
debatable.
Who you ask.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Well, and so I don't want to get political, but so when I would see those scooters here in town, I would like be afraid. I was like I would hear like a hollowing like sound and it would just be like, I was like, dude, there it is. Like there, like that's the thing. And then I was literally like afraid to get back on those scooters, which I had so much fun on them with my friends.
Yeah.
And I'd always
are really fun to fuck around with
so
your friends.
So fun. And I was like afraid to even get on one of those. And then like I'd always wanted to get on a motorcycle, but at this point in time, like I just went back to normal life with no drifting or anything. And so
what was that like?
Sad. I mean, it's just trying to abandon a part of yourself that's like ingrained. I was lying to myself. Like that's just straight up what it was. I was just bitter about how everything was. And so, and then I was like, I am afraid to get on one of the, I don't want to let like my fears like dictate what I'm allowed to enjoy. And then so like, then I just bought my first bike and like that, I'm so happy that I did because motorcycles genuinely saved my life. Like that is like such a free, I don't know how to describe it, especially out here with all the mountains and just like the endless adventure, dude. It's just like, motorcycles saved my life.
I've always wanted one, but I've always been afraid to get one.
Exactly. And so it's like, do you want to let your fears dictate what you're allowed to experience and like the life that you could enjoy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, something to maybe put in your noggin for your 12-hour drive home. Laura's like, fuck no, dude. Like he ain't getting on no bike. But no, it's like, I think it's really special. It's a really special thing. I think you two should both get like matching like 200cc bikes and then just like go rip around. I ran into a couple the other day, literally were husband and wife. They both had Ducatis and they're just like same helmet, same everything. And they were so happy. Like should
we get matching hogs?
But you guys, oh geez, you guys live in a dangerous area to be motorcycle riders.
Yeah. I'm not riding a motorcycle in LA, dude.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like,
that's fair.
That's a pretty like.
That's totally fair.
That's like suicidal.
Yeah, and here there's literally nobody around here even doing the speed limit. Like, it's,
Yeah.
yeah. You need something?
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
That's that whole like, I don't know, like all the pressure and like time and effort and like having that one goal and like have that all kind of like end in like one moment with like that like very like high earlier and then a like ultra low like in the same day. Like I can't imagine.
Yep. And then I got back and I lost all of my best friends, and like, yeah, it was just like, yeah, it was wild. It was wild. The one of the only people, which is who was like, dude, I think you're gonna regret it. Have you ever met Reese, my spotter? He's the new Formula D judge.
Oh, I know Reese. Yeah,
Dude.
I met him at Englishtown.
Dude, I love Reese. If you're out there, I appreciate the shit out of you. Literally every bit of it. He was the only one who was like, dude, don't quit. Like, this is gonna be, yeah. Like there was like wasn't even people like trying to tell me not to quit. Like people, when I told like some of my close, drifting friends, they were like, okay. I'm like, oh,
You're like,
well, wait a minute, maybe. Yeah,
I could be convinced.
yeah.
I could be convinced.
Oh God. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I mean, I didn't really like know you well back then. I like met you like a couple times here and there, but like I don't know. You seem a lot like lighter now.
For sure. Yeah.
Which, yeah,
Well,
you say everything happens
I also
for a
just
reason.
I just don't care about. Oh, what were you gonna say?
You say everything happens for a reason. Like I agree.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen things where you're like, there's no way that this is like, but then all of a sudden, like years down the road, like one little thing trips, and you're like, oh,
That's what that was.
that
for.
would have never happened. Yeah, and so I believe in that. Yeah, I believe in that big time. Man, I hate thinking. When I start thinking about this stuff, my brain just starts to wander. Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying? I'm really happy I got to know you. Yeah, I feel like I used to really care about what people think, but like nowadays, dude, I just don't give a shit what people think about me. And so I think I think I'm allowed myself to be a lot more silly around people.
Yeah.
And I think people don't. Maybe the listeners don't understand like how like autistic our group is. And then like if you want an example of like Palmer's autism, you can go back to the one that you did with Julian. Yeah, no, and you had a case of Coors Lights right here.
Yeah.
And Julian's one of your best friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like you guys said something at the same time, and then like Julian's like, "Oh, jinx, dude, you owe me a Coors Light." And then Palmer, this is at the beginning of the podcast, if you want to go back and see it. Palmer like looks at him and looks at the Coors Light, looks back up, and then like reaches into the box and then like grabs one, and then like looks at Julian for his reaction, and then like he then puts the beer back, and then like just doesn't. And I'm like, yeah, buddy. Like I was like, oh, I got to see some of these episodes because I haven't watched that many. And then all of a sudden I saw that, I was like, I've seen enough.
You're like, okay, I'll do it.
So that's like the group of our nonsense. Like all of us, like are
Julian
just,
and I shotgun like 3 beers before. He's super socially like
for sure.
He's very like he's like I hate talking. I don't want to hear anyone.
I respect him so heavily.
Yeah, and so he like fucking that, and then we did a sober one, and that one did really well. That one did even better than the one where we got drunk. I got like trashed on that one because I didn't eat dinner, and like I like listened back to it, and I was like, I don't want to put this out. Like I'm so annoying on this podcast. It wasn't that bad.
I'm not going to be able to go back and watch this one. That's not in the cards.
No one
for
ever
me.
does.
That's not in the cards for me. I can't do it.
It's okay.
I hate looking at myself.
In general?
Just yeah, but our whole group, like I just like is so.
Well, I hope you don't care about that one day.
What?
Looking at yourself.
That's fine. Like I can hate myself all I want. But like
you don't care if anyone else hates you, but you're allowed to hate you.
Genuinely, like people who hate me, like I don't give a fuck. Like oh man, and I used to care so much about it. And it like
Is it freeing?
so freeing, dude, because like all of a sudden like I would like let myself like talk down to myself in my brain and like like I was like, yeah, all these people like think all this garbage about me, blah 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 blah. And then like all of a sudden I realized like, you know, the people that I was so upset about losing before, like all my good friends and stuff, and then I realized I was like, oh, you know what? Like these are like I was like really upset about losing shitty people in my life and like caring too much about what people that are honestly like trash think about. And like like what they say to me, like I don't give a fuck. Like I don't know. And like same thing with FD. Like everybody spends so much time like trying to be something that they're not. That was the biggest thing for me and FD is that there's no genuine interaction. At least for me. Like once again, this is where somebody would come in and say like, well, you didn't get it. And it's like, well, yeah, that's fair. But I don't know. I just don't. You shouldn't. Nobody should care about what anybody else thinks about. I'm the only like me. I learned this like when I started getting into bikes. Like I'm the only person that makes me happy. Like the only adventure that I'm here for is my own. Like and like I'm gonna be damned if I like let anybody else deter that. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's fucking real, dude.
Thanks, dude. No, I just
I mean that's like real. That's really good advice, and I think probably only learned through like all the effort that you put into trying to. I mean,
I didn't try though to.
No, I mean, but trying to be a champion, trying to be
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like so many people just spend time everything trying to not be themselves, especially in today's day and age. Like, I just feel like there's just everything's so fake.
Yeah.
Am I too far away from this thing?
No.
Is this close enough? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she's got the headphones on.
Roger. Yeah. Do you care what people think about you?
Yeah. I used to care a lot. I think like I was like really uncool at one point. I'm still uncool, but I was gonna say,
I was like, dude, we're pretty lame, dude. Like genuinely, gosh, yeah.
Yeah. No, like I moved schools and I was like the weird kid.
Nice.
Like one time, and then I moved schools again, and then I was just like a normal kid again.
Okay.
But I think that experience like definitely was like, I'll never be the uncool kid again. Cause like, dude, if you're like the weird kid.
That's why you're an animal style. No, I'm kidding.
Was that?
You guys are cool as shit. That's why your cars are cool. You guys drive super hard. Like it's like, ugh.
I think it's like, I don't know. We all have very similar
taste
in like how cars should be done and like how they should be driven.
And that's why you're in a Euro chassis while everybody else is in Nissans.
So I picked this is a great example of me wanting to be liked and like caring what other people thought and be noticed.
Each chassis
like
is
that's
so much better.
Well, that was something that I found out later, but like I actually Julian Dumais took me for a ride at Medford and I was like, this thing flicks, dude.
Rips, dude. They
yeah, I was like, oh, this is a
hard.
great chassis. And then I drove one when I taught at Farouk's like Groupon driving school, and I was like, this thing's sick. Like people hate on these, but they drive really well.
When was that?
NorCal Drifting Academy or something like that. And I was a instructor for a weekend.
Oh
and
no,
me and
dude.
Will Griffith got like 7 or 8. No, we got like 10 IPAs deep playing Mario Kart for beers, like before the second day.
I love playing N64 and stuff.
Yeah, it was so good. And we were playing like he brought like the adapter to like plug it into the like Willow's like
sick
hotel TV.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wait, who was this?
Will Griffith.
Oh, wow, that's somebody I haven't heard of in a long time.
Yeah, he used to be the guy. He used to be the NOS Energy guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he was like he worked for NOS Energy, and they would like sponsor Sonoma Drift back when Sonoma Drift had like DJs and like
I remember
free NOS, and you drink like 5 NOS Energies, and then you'd sit in line for 45 minutes to do a run, and you'd just be like hands shaking, like ready to go, and you just go fucking spin out, and then you'd have to like wait another 45 minutes to run. That was the early days. That was peak Sonoma Drift.
It's so funny how like your perception on all that stuff changes, because I remember when I left Medford and like went to another like Sonoma or something like that. I'm like, there's somebody here that knows the people at Nitrous energy drink. Like what? You're like, I didn't have to pay for this? No way, dude. Like, we are big
Yeah,
now.
they used to have like the bins.
Yep.
Like, and you just, and like,
I have one.
by the end of the night, there'd be like, it would be all the gross flavors left, and you'd be like, oh, dude. And I'm pretty like weak with caffeine. Was I telling a story?
Word.
Was I in the middle? I feel
Was
like
he?
I was like talking about how I cared about what people thought.
We were talking in euros. You were talking about the e-chassis. Julian gave you a ride.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so like back when I like in the early days of Animal Style, when I had the S13, I like left it white on purpose because I was like I didn't want to get like, I would watch like Jason and like Luke get tagged as each other and all this shit, and I was like, I need to stand out.
Oh,
But the problem is, I didn't focus on standing out by driving well. I just focused on standing
Shut your
out
mouth,
by
Palmer.
standing out.
Shut your mouth.
Anyway, there was like a lot of growth in that. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I got some
You've
like,
always been a ripper driver. I don't want to hear none of that.
yeah, but like, it wasn't.
You're comparing it to like the heart, like, dude, you're like, your boy is Julian, which I don't like. Julian Jacobs like drives a stock Z like harder than I didn't know they could even do that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
He's so you're comparing yourself to him.
how can I not?
No, for sure.
Like those
For
are
sure.
the people that I drive with. So like, if I'm getting taken to Gapplebee's 2 for $20 every time I drive, like, you know,
I get it for sure.
yeah, I don't know. It's also hard. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how it was with you and FD, but like being surrounded by your friend. Like I was on the team before like the parking lot videos blew up and like all that other stuff. And like I was like a nobody on the team.
With Cotto and
yeah, like I've
Jacobs?
filmed a bunch of stuff in that. Like I was there.
Right.
I wasn't driving, you know? And so it was kind of like, I think I had a lot more of an ego when I was younger, and it was like hard for me to like watch my friends be super famous and like hate it. And like, I was like, I would like people to like me. That would be cool. You know?
Yeah.
And like now it's, I don't know. Yeah. Doing the podcast has been really good for me because I'm like, I like have like a bit more of that feeling. Like I know what it's like for people to be like, oh, hey man, like I like the podcast. Like I know you. And I'm like,
when Miles last year, when we were at Creekside, was it Creekside? And Miles was like, dude, the podcast, I look up to you guys so, and like Palmer's just like, so like, thanks man, thank you, I appreciate it, I thank you, that's enough, thank you, stop.
I didn't realize what it was. I didn't know what it was like. Grass is always greener, right? You like watch your friends like become famous in like the community that you like idolize, right? And then you're like, I would like a little bit of that, and then it happens, you get like a little bit of like notoriety from like notoriety. Isn't that like bad?
Huh?
Like being, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, you get like
It's good. It's no,
yeah,
sure.
you get like
use that
some kind,
properly.
you get something, yeah, and then like you feel it, and you're like, oh, like I can see why. I don't know.
It's addictive to a sense, for sure. But at the same time, it's like it's hard to not, because like the way that things are today, and what society puts value on is like such trash.
Yeah.
And so it's, you really have to like walk away from that shit. Like it's
Yeah.
like, and that's something that I had. Well, it was easy for me because like nobody gave a fuck about me and FD like for the first like few years. So I'm just like, yeah, it was like really, yeah. So that's something that everybody should curb. Like especially like listeners or watchers or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like it
Lurkers.
doesn't matter. Like who cares? Like who gives a shit? Like I don't know. It's just like I feel like all these people, like people spend so much time like regretting stuff, or like, you know, feeling like they didn't make it far enough. And it's like, dude, you literally wasted life. Like it's like that's like such an unimportant thing. It doesn't matter. Like who I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me though. I literally had to go through the fires and flame to like get to the like that point where I view it like that. But
Yeah.
I get it though. I understand.
I think it's something that everybody has to learn. I think drifting is kind of like a show off sport, and it is kind of like something that you're like, look at me, look what I just did. You know, like there is like some like attention aspect to it. And like I think anybody who like gets into it, like, yes, I'm not saying everyone's like that, but there are like some fucking
For sure.
ancient fucking giant bugs flying around here.
I know. Well, it's also like people don't know. I was telling Palmer about how spooky this place is, and like you never know if like you're dealing with a critter or a ghoul or something. Just things go bump in the night around this shop. I'm telling you, like you don't believe me, but I'm hoping we catch something on film.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
dude, if we get a goddamn ghost on the Goodest cast,
we should do that. We should do a ghost hunting thing.
We should.
What's the name for that? We'll figure it out. But yeah. What were we saying?
I don't know. We were talking about ego and weird shit like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think you're right. No, for sure. I think you're right about, like the whole a part of like, and I think that this is also why like the sideshow stuff is like getting big is like because like, oh, I can do something that gets me notoriety or like whatever else. Like, and I can like, I know I'm pretty neat and like in here I can show people I'm neat.
Yeah.
And so, but for me, what I have to keep remembering is like, so when I first got my driver's license, like, that feeling of when you first drive something, you're like, you have those insane like butterflies or whatever. I keep having to like channel myself back to this time so I can remember it purely of like, the pure excitement of like, oh, I'm operating something. Like, this is so cool. Like,
do you remember the first donut you did?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And the one-wheel drive go-kart, the Kirkland. Yeah. Yeah, the Kirkland cart, dude. Oh, for sure. Yeah. But like, so when you first...
Still waiting on that Costco sponsorship.
Dude, no, I want a Kirkland. It's Kirkland. Yo, hook it up, dude, please, for real.
Kirkland,
like, I want...
Kirkland... main sponsor on the door.
If I could get 25% off rotisserie chickens for the rest of my life, I will shill out hardcore. But so the idea, so like those feelings you would get when you would first drive something, and then all of a sudden like that, and then you get your driver's license and you're free to move about the world. Like, so it's like where I live here, it's like you can't go riding a bicycle on that road. Like I'd be dead. Like, because the road used to be a lot more narrow too. So I can't ride to the market. There's no market I could ride to, and I can't ride to the skate park. I can't.
Yeah, you're locked in.
So I was landlocked into this farm, and then with all the ghosts and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, like, when you get that driver's license, you're like, oh my god, independence. Like I got a Honda Civic and a driver's license. Like I can go wherever I want.
Will Smith Independence Day, dude. You're out.
Yeah, no, for real. Rest in peace, the biplane guy at the end. But really,
he was a real one for saving the
planet.
real.
That's so. Never mind. But so and then like having those feelings of having independence and like feeling alive, just like going around and adventuring and driving, especially here in the mountains. And then all of a sudden, when you first start, that first slide, that like electricity that like shot through me. And being like, oh my God, like that was so, I've only ever seen that in movies. And here I am doing it in person.
Yeah.
And then so it's like people, I think because drifting is like, just like any other vice or drug or anything, it loses its edge as far as like what it does for you. And so I think I keep having to try to channel that again about being like, this is the funnest thing ever. Like, and it, like, it's something that represents freedom. It's something that represents like independence, like, and the fact that we get to do this stuff that, I don't know, it's like that's what I'm having to remember and why I love drifting so much. Like why, and just driving in general, honestly, like that's my favorite part. It's
the freedom.
The freedom, but also just the feeling of drifting. Like people, I think, lose the ability to feel that first spark. And so it's like, I think if you channel and if you make sure to like be like this is fun, like this is what I love, like this is all I care about, then it's like, then you can feel it again.
Yeah. And
so I feel like a lot of people lose that, especially when you go to FD and you do all that sort of, sorry, I need to not do this near a microphone.
It's okay. Thank you for doing it all at once.
But
that appeased my,
I'm so sorry. But
my autism.
Dude, same. We need to come up with like a puzzle piece, like here, like give me a fist bump. Dude, like that's our puzzle piece, like type thing. But dude,
should we just quit drifting and get model train sets? We don't.
Why do we have to quit drifting?
Okay, fair enough.
Just something I really want to get into. Have you seen the 72 scale? It's like 1/72 RC cars.
No,
dude, they make these little 70-second scale RC cars, and they're kind of slow, but they're really, really tiny and they're really detailed. And I want to build a model Togue and then like have little RC Togue races like in the shop. I think that would be the jam. But
That'd be sick.
yeah, just some of the thoughts. But on the checkers on the car,
Yeah.
I wanted to replace the white checkers with white and black puzzle pieces.
That would be great.
I think it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I think there'd be a lot of youths out there like your autograph signing, if you ever went back to anything, would just be like a lot of autistic kids being like, "Thank you for the representation."
And I don't even like have like hero cards. I just like when I show up, I just have like a 1,000-piece puzzle of like kittens, and I just like dump it on the table, and I just sign each individual little
Oh
like,
my
puzzle
God.
piece.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll send that over to our marketing team.
Yeah.
I mean me.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. I
I think Dylan will approve it.
oh, dude, I miss Dylan so much. Yeah, what a great man. Genuinely, like those, yeah, that's who I owe all of this back to. Because I wouldn't have gone, wouldn't have fixed this car, like the Roush motor, like just everything. I would have never gone back if it wasn't for those guys.
Yeah.
We should do a podcast with all three of us, with me, Julian, and Dylan, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you.
Yeah. Well, you guys could just do it. I don't even need to. I'll just make sure it gets recorded.
No, you need to be there. Like,
I'll just guide the ship.
okay. No, but no, you need to be on the
The
podcast.
very, very insane ship.
Dude, yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you think? I don't know. Everybody needs like their community and their circle for it to be fun.
Big time.
Like, now that you have that, and you can kind of just like approach it from like, let's just have fun. Hey, we're gonna go do this event. Fuck it. Let's see what happens. Like, whatever happens. Like, no expectations.
Yep.
Is that the feeling that you were chasing originally, and you just found it in a different place?
I think we're all chasing that, honestly. Well, and I like, to the people listening, because like I used to, when I was alone, especially, like, you hear stories about people where they have these like great friends and like this great social circle, and you sit there and you think to yourself, like, what's wrong with me? Like, how come I don't have that?
Yeah.
And so it's like, but I honestly think, like I said, things happen for a reason. I think that, like, you're supposed to go through these seasons of, loneliness and like feeling alone. But if you just wait, and if you like know that you deserve to like, have that love and like those people, it's like you will be given that gift eventually. Yeah. But it's like you just, and I maybe right now like isn't the time for you to like, where you have that. But trust me, if like you're open to it, like there will be a time where you're given that gift.
You also do have to take chances to find those people. Like, if you didn't do
Sure.
Drift Week, you would not have found those people.
That's true. If
you were like, I fucked myself up, fuck drifting, I'm never doing that shit again. Like, you get this opportunity and you're like, no, fuck that. Like, you wouldn't have made those friends.
For sure.
And you wouldn't have had like the like revelation and the revitalization of like yourself and like what you're doing. Like, and
you have to put yourself out there for sure.
Yeah.
Like you can't expect things to come to you.
It's fucking hard to do that, especially when you're like down.
For
when
sure.
You're being kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we all grow and like we all get stronger from like that stuff. But we just have to like take it in stride. Like you can't be all like, oh, like, because I used to do that. Like when I'd be in the ditch and I'd just be all like, metaphorically, not literally. And like, like I would be like, well, like so sad. And then like, but I would be like, no, like you have to have those moments where you're like, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to do this for myself. And if you can like do all that, then like it will come. Like if you do things genuinely, if you're not trying to fake yourself, if you just like just like try to live this life as genuinely as possible. And then like the things that you seek will come to you. Yeah. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm just saying stuff that I wish like my stupid self had heard. Like,
yeah.
Don't look at me like that.
I was talking about myself.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, are you happy with how like life is and like drifting and all that stuff?
I was thinking about it on the drive up here. And I was thinking about like how fortunate I am to be able to do the thing that I love so much. And like
surrounded by people you love.
Yeah. And it's kind of incredible where my life has gone just based on like dedicating myself to like one thing. Being like, this is the thing that I love and I want to pursue it and I want to do it to the best of my ability. And not only that, like I want to like give back to the community. And I feel like the times that I'm giving back to the community are when I feel the best about it.
Mhm.
And the times that I feel like I'm like maybe taking from the community or trying to like build ego or like, I guess like get attention or like, you know, over promoting or over doing this or overselling or whatever, like that's when I feel like empty about it. And when I'm giving back and I'm driving well and like I'm building cool shit and I'm like having other people tell their stories, like that's when I feel the best.
Right.
That's when I feel like I'm like actually contributing and a good person and
Mhm.
doing something.
And that's like another thing, like I think about in like today's day and age, like because so many of the people, especially the people that I like latched onto from my previous life, like meaning just the people that I lost and whatnot along the way, they like it's like nobody is passionate about anything anymore, and it's like and people like if they're passionate about something, it's like a video game or like just such a material like just a nothing, like something that really isn't anything, but it's like the only thing that they have to like pull joy from. And it's like how lucky we are to not only like just how lucky we are to be passionate about something.
Yeah.
Like in so passionate with drifting. Like there's nothing else that I can think of where people are as like will put themselves into financial ruin and like basically alter and ruin the rest of their life, like just to do something and like have fun with their friends. Like we are so lucky. That's another thing that I'm like trying to hold on to is like how lucky I am just to like be passionate about something.
Yeah, you could
especially,
be
like,
passionate
drifting.
about like
Like what?
I don't know.
No,
I don't want to.
There's nothing you can offend me.
I don't want to passion bash anyone else. You know?
No.
No, but not you. Just I don't know. You could be. At least there's passion, right?
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of friends. I don't know about you, but like I grew up in like not a small town, but like a smaller town.
San Francisco is pretty small.
I didn't grow up in San Francisco. I moved there 10 years ago, and then I just moved out of.
Oh.
Yeah, I grew up.
Where'd you go from?
Like the North Bay.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Do you mind name dropping a town?
I grew up in this town called Novato.
Oh yeah.
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 That's why I drove so much because it
Novato's
was
pretty sick.
10 minutes. I was 10 minutes from Sonoma,
Right.
so I would just
You
blast
guys have
out
actually sick roads out there.
there. Yeah.
And the Bohemian Grove. Like, did you ever stop out there?
There's Novato's gorgeous. It's a beautiful city. If you're 70 years old.
Oh, well, that's Medford, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. You can either like do a lot of drugs and like party really hard because there's like nothing to do because you're like kind of like boring.
That was Medford.
Yeah. And so like a lot of people end up on that. Like I say all the time, drifting saved my life because like I was one of those dudes. Like
Dude, you should get a motorcycle.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was one of those dudes and I was passionate about being crazy.
Word.
Yeah. And then cars kind of like came back into my life in like a really good way.
Okay.
They were always there. It was just muted for a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It happens.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you can get lost in a lot of other things if you don't have passion. Like passion is what like put me in a better career and like made me want to get certifications and made me want to make more money and made me want to like be better at like finances and like credit and like all this other shit. I was like, well, if I have better credit, then I can get a better tow rig or whatever. You know, it's like having that like pretty much every decision I've made financially or like career wise in the last like 10, 15 years has been for drifting.
Mm. And how long have you been like a talented interior designer? Why laugh? For those that don't know, when I first walked into his apartment, I was like blown away. I was like, wait, where is your woman? Because like, there's no way that this got put together by itself. Just like really tasteful. Are you still going to want to set up a business where you do interior decoration for like motorsport gentlemen?
Dudes. Yeah. I need to just like sell my services to like indie drivers and shit.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Why specific?
I don't know why
because
I
I got the big bucks.
Yeah, well, Time is money, baby.
Yeah.
I should probably target NASCAR then. But I don't know if we have the same like interior design.
That's not going
taste.
to work. That's not going to work. No.
Yeah.
They like country style like design.
Yeah. What's that shit that they have at like Home Depot? It's like the fig. Like the fig barn stuff. You know, I don't know. Whatever.
Wood?
It's like modern barn interior stuff. Like that's not.
It's that country. Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of those around here.
Yeah. I'll just start doing F1 drivers' houses.
You could do it if you. Yeah, you could do it. You want the guy from McLaren? I'll hit you up.
So there we go. I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I just like both my
It
parents.
comes from your parents' creativity, right?
My parents are both artists,
Yep.
or they are. Well,
In
they're still
fashion,
alive.
right?
I don't talk to my dad, but
Right.
yeah,
I don't either. But
it's because yours is
he's dead.
dead. My dad's dead to me.
Rip.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Mine's by choice.
I'm sorry to hear about that. That's
It's
really
okay. Anyway, yeah, interior design, love it. I like making stuff cool, you know?
And his apartment is super sick. As soon as I walked in, I was like, no way. Did you pick the colors for your kitchen?
No.
Oh,
But I picked the apartment, so
the apartment is sick.
Yeah.
Now you don't live there anymore.
I don't.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But now you're in a big house with a garage and all sorts of stuff.
It's not a big house, but it's a house, and I have my own garage, which is really cool.
Isn't it like, yeah, it's pretty big.
It's
They're in a nice
1,600 square feet.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not in the same place you were talking to me about? Oh, I thought you were in that big spot. I thought you told. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. She quoted something last time when we were all up for your birthday.
Yeah.
But I think you guys hadn't decided on a house
Yeah,
yet.
it didn't work out.
But you do have a garage.
I do have a garage.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I got. It's pretty cool to be able to like walk out and be like, because like forever I was in an apartment and my car was like 25 minutes away, and I'd be like, I need to measure something. Like, fuck.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Get in the Forerunner, drive out there, fucking go open the shop, fucking yeah. So that was having a shop was really nice though. So
For sure.
definitely like first world problems. Like, oh no, I had to drive to my shop.
Dude, when you have to drive through the bay, like, or the city or something like that, sorry, I can't call it San Fran.
Yeah, don't. Anyone listening, especially fucking Dylan, if you call it San Fran,
He does it purely intentionally.
yeah, I
don't you
know
that?
exactly, Dylan. It's not.
Are you going to finish that?
Say
You
San
can't.
Fran.
People from the Bay Area get mad if you call
Yeah,
it
if you
San
call it
Fran.
San Fran, it's like
Fuck me. You're not supposed to shorten the name.
yeah,
San Francisco, that's fine. No, we call it the city. The city.
yeah SF.
Calvin
You can
Wan
call
got mad at me the very first thing. He was like, well, we don't call it San Fran.
That's because Calvin Wan's a real one.
He is a shout out Calvin Wan.
shout out
was my
Calvin
spotter for a couple years.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was. That's how. Yeah.
He's a great dude.
I need to talk to that dude. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
He just recently talked to me and he's like, you should drift a 190.
I think 190s are sick.
Yeah, that was my first car.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What motor?
I got some plans.
What motor?
I'm not gonna drift. I don't. I had the non 16 valve 2.3 automatic.
Still sick. The suspension geometry on those are pretty slick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're like DTM cars on the road.
Yeah, I really fuck with that stuff.
If anyone has one for sale, let me know.
Hit the man up.
Yeah, for cheap though, because I'm gonna cut it up.
Are you gonna do it like a VIP? Is that the idea?
What's a VRP?
VIP?
VIP? No. I got some up top.
Okay, all right. Won't spoil it.
I'd like to build.
Hmm.
I'd like to build something with these hands.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're the third person this week to call me autistic.
What? I didn't call you autistic. No, I said we are.
All right. Yeah. No, that's true. I think. I don't
haven't
know. It's hard to tell. How do
I
you
haven't been tested. I don't want to be tested. I don't want to be on paper anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Man, what else? There's like so much dead zone. Like if we just sit here and like we have these 30 seconds of not knowing what to say.
Do you think aliens are real? Do you think we're alone?
Dude, I think all the alien stuff is a distraction. I don't know what's going on with all that.
Yeah. Because like recently they're like, yeah, there's totally aliens.
It's like, for sure we got aliens.
You're like, what?
You're not allowed to see them, but we got them.
Yeah, you're like, hold on. I thought it was always like, we don't.
And then did you see what Mexico released as they were like, we got one? And did you see it was like a paper mache? It looked like a piñata. Like, honestly, like I'm pretty sure it was a piñata. And look it up. Look up Mexico alien. It's a piñata.
I saw it.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah.
was-
It's a piñata, right? Minus the little fuzz, the little tassels and stuff.
Yeah.
There ain't no candy in that one.
There's a very upset 6-year-old somewhere in Mexico.
Dios mío. Wait, what does that mean? I should.
Adios mio.
I think isn't it like my God or something like that?
Oh my God, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I have no idea. I'm just guessing.
Get that boy his piñata back now. Yeah.
That paper mache is atrocious.
For real, like the little
Whatever-
volcano that I
whatever-
made in first grade
Yeah,
that I
whatever-
poured baking soda into looked better than that alien.
Any other conspiracy theories that you want to like implode?
I live in the world of conspiracy theories. No, it's just being out here. Like we've experienced some really spooky stuff. Have you ever ran into cult stuff in the mountains out here?
What's cold stuff?
Cult stuff.
What the fuck is that?
Like so like one of the most
Is it like stuff left over from the Cold War?
cult.
Colt. Oh.
Oh, did you think I said cold?
Yeah. I was like, well, yeah, there's snow.
No. So no. Cult stuff like out here. There's a lot of like that sort of stuff. Like that's who.
Yeah.
So we're pretty sure that the people that stole my one puppy was
What?
some like cult people, and that's big. They find a lot. I'm friends with a lot of sheriffs out here, and so like they'll give me the lowdown on some of the stuff that
Yeah.
they find. And but the one night out here, so out near there's a valley called Applegate that's near here, and if you it's like those mountains that are on like the south border of the valley. Like if you go over that mountain range, it's like 2 more mountain ranges you got to go over, you'll be in like the Applegate Valley. And the Applegate, it's like a gorgeous like winery like type area. It's like there's a Gordon Ramsay where he like goes in and like redoes a kitchen, like like where it's like there's bugs and rats everywhere. Like I'll fix this place. Gordon Ramsay did one out there, and I thought it was the best. But so like out there is a lake called Applegate Lake, which has a lot of like local secrecy in and of itself because the government like forced everybody out, and there's a town at the bottom of that lake called Copper. And so like literally there's when the water gets low enough, you can see the bridge and all that stuff. But they literally like kicked everybody out of this town and like shut it down and then flooded it like 20 years later.
Wait, why?
Because they think a lot of the locals think it's because they found gold out there. The government did, and they I have no idea. I don't want to go down any of that stuff. But there's a town at the bottom of that lake. Anyways, if you go behind the lake, there's a dirt road that'll eventually take you to the California border. And out there is a lake called Squaw Lake. And there's nothing out there. You ever been out there? Yeah. So it's like really hidden way out in the middle of nowhere. And we used to go out there in the wintertime because it would freeze over and you could throw rocks on it and it would do the like bloom, 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 like sound when you throw rocks on it. But it also would do this thing because ice expands where it would sound like bolts of lightning shooting across the lake surface. Like, so because the whole thing would crack and you just hear like all the way across the lake. And it was super cool. So we would go out there in wintertime, just have a fire and like hang out. And all of a sudden, like we go up there and it's snowing and the trucks run in. We all get out. We like grab our firewood and like whatever else we were taking. And as soon as I shut the truck off and the silence of the mountains like set in, and you could hear echoing through the valleys, like 16th century, like Hungarian chanting, like you were in some cathedral in the 1600s, like some Gothic, like terrifying, like tongue type language, like echoing through the hills. And then my one friend was like, that's a speaker. That's got to be a speaker. But you could tell that this was coming from like a group of like 30 people. And like we never found where they were, and we didn't quite frankly want to.
Yeah,
but you could.
that.
It was
I'd
at
be
like
out,
2 o'clock in the morning, like way out. And those mountains are famous because, and that's why the state of Jefferson is because we have a lot of roads that go into California or vice versa that you have no access to from the other state. So there was like illegal raves that were happening out there for a long time. She probably heard about this, where people were going to the California side from the Oregon side. So there's no way in from California. They would have to drive through Oregon to get back into California. And people would have raves out there and like do all sorts of crazy stuff. And the California police had to work out a thing to come into Oregon to then go back down into California to bust it. And so there's a lot of weird stuff that's out there. And so it's like, I like spooky stuff. Like if you want to get spooked out, hit me up. Like, dude, I'll get spooked with you. Like, honestly, like for real. Like that's why I'm hoping something happens out here tonight. But
Fuck yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Colts are scary.
Colt, people are weird. People are really afraid. Yeah, Formula D is like a big cult.
Yeah, and you never drank the Kool-Aid? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah. I was like, I want to be friends with you guys, and then everybody's just so cold and mean and whatnot. I was like, okay, I'll go over here and like not drive port like great, and then it's just like yeah, FD, yeah. It was an honor to be there, but I don't want to complain about it anymore. It was a blessing to be able to go in the first place. It was a great time. I had a great time.
You really sold it.
Yeah. Chase your dreams, but realize when you're not chasing them anymore.
Yeah. You said earlier you're like trying to figure out what your goal is.
To be happy.
Yeah.
That's my only goal now.
What about dreams?
Huh?
What about dreams? Is it the one and the same at this point?
The dream at this point is to be able to go drifting with my friends and not have to ruin my livelihood for it, which I think is like a lot of our dreams, which is like, I don't need to get paid to show up, but if I could, do this to where I'm not ruining my future or like, the future of my children or whatever, like to do this, like that's the dream. Like just to have fun with my friends and not have it be a burden is my dream.
Yeah, I think when you do it long enough, you start, like when you first start out, it's easy to just spend everything you have. And then you start getting older and you're like,
fuck.
Okay.
It's sad, honestly. Like, yeah. They should make drifting cheaper.
Yeah.
Bunch of dicks. Making it all expensive. The government. No.
Yeah. Driftingflation.
Oh, dude. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Fucking tire tariffs, dude.
That's a thing.
Yeah, it did actually make drifting more expensive.
Government. Yeah.
Yeah, they made drifting more expensive.
Dude, support American-made tires. Like that's.
Do they have American-made tires?
No, I don't think they do. No.
Isn't GT Radial made in the U.S.? I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
Yeah. I mean, do we really want
no? I was
tires
just,
made in the U.S.? Joke. Like, do we want to have
if they're
like
good?
tire
I'll
factories
I'll
here?
take tires from wherever if they're okay. Yeah. But I work. Valino's just like they're so good, but they're so expensive. Have you driven on them?
I have never driven on Valinos.
Oh, you should try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I don't think I can.
Oh.
But
Roger.
All in sort of Park Street's at.
Dude, shout out the homie Drew Fishbine.
Yeah, he's the best.
Honestly,
OMG
one of the most
Drift.
genuine human beings on the. Oh,
And for those who don't know, fucking legendary drift blog in the early days.
dude, I used to. OMG Drift. I hope he brings it back. I wonder what happened to all of those articles.
I think it would be nice to just have OMG Drift's like archive up somewhere.
That's why.
Drew,
yeah.
is it possible?
Please, like honestly, like I used to like hold on to those things, being like, oh, like I'll be able to look at these forever, and then just like 10 years goes by and you just can't even find it anymore. You're like, oh, my memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like in the drift edit era, like
Mhm.
where like there'd be like 4-minute YouTube videos from every event, and they were like,
those were the best.
yeah,
Dude, what happened to drifting? OMG Drift, do you remember?
Instagram.
We had Life Blasters, we had Motor Mavens.
The blog era was kind of the shit.
Dude, I remember, do you remember Joe Ayala's video? I went to the same high school as Joe Ayala.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. And then also Justin Treve is from here as well. And
Yeah.
so it's like those were the dudes that I had to look up to.
Tandem of Die,
At
for
the
those
very
who don't
beginning.
know the
Tandem
name.
of Die. Dude, Joe, I remember his video that he did of Sonoma FD where it was the tilt shift lens that he rented. And I think it was all shot from outside of the event because I don't think he had a pass.
Yeah.
I just went back and rewatched that video the other day. It's so good. Those were, oh man, such a golden era. We were so bad at what we were doing. We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
But having, oh man. Yeah. What happened?
I think social media made things a lot more like one hitter quitter, like quick clip, photo. Like, I don't know. I definitely miss, like, I don't know about you, but like the fucking joy of seeing my car on Speed Hunters was like,
dude,
that was like, I mean, dude, I looked at Speed Hunters for fucking years, and that was the pinnacle. Like, I had this like shitty desk job where like I would just scroll through Speed Hunters like literally all day.
Geek Squad.
No, this is when I was testing software. I did software QA, but really I just like clicked buttons and made sure they like did what they were supposed to do. It was
okay. That's really descriptive.
It was so fucking mindless. It was probably like one of my least favorite jobs ever.
Did you like it more at Geek Squad?
Yeah, I like, dude, being a car audio installer is pretty cool. Like, you know, when I don't know if
taking apart interiors all day would kill me. That would be especially interiors that I don't know.
That's why I have my true love for Toyota.
Oh, because like their clips would hold together?
Like everything that Toyota did was just like, oh,
logical.
Like, this kind of makes sense. Like, you'd get like a fucking 2004 Mercedes in, and you'd just be like,
dude, every
like
time
my toolbox had like, I had like one of those like
all of the clip pullers.
No, it was pretty much like my junior type. Like, what's the fuck is the brand? Little Tykes, like the little kid shit.
Okay.
Anyway, like my first toolbox, it was like this big. I had like 3 drawers, you know, because I had like panel poppers and I had like sockets and like screwdrivers,
the wedges and all that.
That's
stuff.
all I had, because like most of the dude, like a Mercedes, like mid 2000s Mercedes would come in and be like, all right, you need like e-torques and regular torques and like these like things. And I'm just like, oh.
Anytime I go to take an interior part, I'm like, well, none of this is ever going to fit snugly again. Like, all of this, like everything on here is going to break.
Yeah. I snapped a lot of, actually, I never had a big damage claim. Like I had like,
I've broken so many plastic clips.
There was like, okay, so you could do like $100 worth of damage and they would just like expense it, like Best Buy would. But like anything over $100 was like a damage claim, and you'd have to like go through a whole. Oh, dude! One time this like Porsche 944
oh, no.
started to catch on fire in the install bay.
Why?
Someone like ran a bunch of weird wires under the dash, and like
was it you? Was it? Did you?
Well, I put more weird wires under the dash.
Okay, so you did so somebody else did an install. You did your weird install, and then it started to smoke.
I think it was like a setup, because like this sounds really paranoid, but like they were like immediately like, oh, this is gonna be like this much, and then they had us like pretty much pay to like rewire the whole car.
Oh,
yeah. I did.
So you think
I
the
did
Geek
scratch
King was like testing you?
Huh?
The Geek King was testing you?
No, the Geek King. No, it was just a customer.
Oh.
You know what's really funny is Alex Pfeiffer worked at this Porsche shop that was like next to the Best Buy that I worked at, called S Cargo.
Yeah.
And
he's
like,
told me about that shop.
Huh?
He's told me about that shop.
Yeah, like
I
it was like
pretty frequently.
It was like 200 feet away from the Best Buy that I worked at.
Is that how you met him?
No, I know of him through my friend Mac, who was like the guy who taught me how to clutch kick on Live for Speed. He was like, he helped put on Motoring J Style, which was like one of the first like kind of like big like JDM events with like drifting at the Vallejo Fairgrounds. That was the first event that ever happened there.
The Vallejo Fairground.
Yeah. Sorry. Worst asphalt ever.
Yeah, and the whole thing was a V.
Yeah.
Like it was like a quarter pipe. Like
I went through like a pair of used tires in like a lap and a half, and I made like, it was, I think I was KA still.
Ah, dude, those were truly the days.
Yeah. We got these Continentals, dude. I hope they last.
Oh, dude, what else did we run? The original Acceleras, I remember back in the day, the like $40 ones.
Yeah,
that we used to buy.
Like they didn't even have sidewalls. Like it was just.
Yeah, the whole sidewall game is like so different.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, I didn't realize how all the performance in these stupid drift tires are all on the sidewall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned that when I was like sitting behind Chris Forsberg in the burnout box at Irwindale, and it was it's like on the bank, the burnout box, and I remember seeing him come through and like whip around, and I remember seeing the like literally almost the lip of his rim like tapping the ground, like because it was just folding the sidewall so hard that it was literally almost tapping the lip to the ground, and I was like, holy shit, like you just have no idea. Yeah. Like why all this stuff works. So like that's the thing about drifting is like, especially in the early days, we had so many theories about why stuff was the way it was. But then like, oh man, just everything has changed so much.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, drifting.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy. There's like people are actually like doing data logs and like doing like crazy data stuff. And
Dude, Matt Field has damper like readings on all of his corners, so he can read exactly like how much his dampers are like compressing and whatnot.
yeah, I think some of the teams have like tire temp sensors that like will tell you like the temp on like different parts of the tire.
That's something we're doing on this car.
Yeah.
You should do you do EGTs?
I don't.
That's like my favorite thing in the world.
I got it on the truck.
Your gasser?
Yeah. Well, I was like, I have like a OBD2 like.
And it reads EGTs?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Not
cool.
individual, just the overall rate.
Just one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's exhaust gas temp, not
cylinder exhaust gas temp.
Yeah.
Well, no, I say it because it's
Are
super
you
easy.
doing 8?
Yeah, on all of these.
You're like, fucking cylinder one's reading lean, brother.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. Especially with the like the trumpets on that thing. Like, dude,
Yeah.
you had to, and it stresses me out so much at idle because like before, like that thing hasn't been adjusted in forever, and like literally I have one cylinder that's idling at like 280 degrees. The cylinder next to it is cooking at like 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm just like, okay. But if like once you get on throttle, like they all equal out to like 1,000 degrees. But yeah, no, it's just a really good diagnostic tool.
Yeah. They used to tune cars based on that.
Sick.
That was like
That's
was
real
like,
men.
Yeah.
Put a different jet in it.
Yeah.
A jet ain't right.
The Jet ain't right.
Man.
I heard that's how Jet Davis got his name. I don't know if you know who Jet Davis is.
Yeah. You want to explain to me and the podcast listeners who Jet Davis is?
He's a dude from Corpus Christi, Texas. He's got an S15.
Yeah. Sick.
He let me drive it. He's a nice dude.
Dude, those cars are gonna become unobtainable here soon.
Yeah.
I really want to like I want to like ship some stuff over before it's like too late.
You should.
I want an S15 so bad.
They're amazing.
I would get a
S15 's the
girlfriend
best
so
driving
quickly
car.
if I drove around Medford in an S15.
Yeah. Wait. Why is that?
Because in Medford, it's like, it's like if you're in,
Like JDM's cool now.
well, I don't know. I was just kind of just saying nonsense, honestly. It doesn't mean anything. I was just joking.
Well, no. Let's dig deeper into this.
What? Dude, no. Anytime any woman on the street makes eye contact with me, I'm like, got a blast. Brr, brr. Like rip off real quick.
Kind of like when people are trying to help you and you fall off the scooter.
Yeah, genuinely.
I'm noticing a pattern.
Oh, man, that was a weird night. Sometimes, yeah. Dude, I don't know. Accepting help is an important thing.
Yeah, it's hard to do though.
Big time. That was like a huge thing for me for a long time because like since I had such a like struggles with the people around my program, like it was a huge issue for me to trust anybody after that. Because like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because you're probably like, fuck, I want to think that these people are like having my best interest in mind. They're here for me. Like we're a team. We want to win. Like that's like the whole thing. And having that like not be the case
For sure.
probably really fucks up your perspective on.
But in drifting, it's like it's such an important thing for your growth is to, ask for help about like, setup and like what would really be the best here. I know so many people who like drive like trash and quite frankly have for years because they simply just like refuse to either like take advice from people or just ask for advice at all. And like, I don't know. Like, see, people are so egotistical about different stuff.
It's true. What do you think the number one thing people could change about their driving to be better?
Just do what makes you happy. Like there's no right or wrong way to do it. No, I think it's the same thing that we were talking about earlier with people get into drifting because it's a cool thing. Like this will make me look cool. And it's same thing with like people who get into motorcycles just to like sit in a parking lot and do wheelies and back and forth. It's like this will make me look cool, and you're not actually doing it for the love of it.
Have you ever done a wheelie? I feel like it's pretty fun.
Hell yeah. No, I like nowadays I'm like a 12 o'clock kid, but I don't want to be the, I love going on adventures. Like that's the whole point of living in this shithole. Medford is like is endless adventures. Like genuinely, and I'll go across the country and like to other places where you try to find dirt roads and like try to find mountains, and there are mountains, but it's just they're filled with people. Like there's nowhere in the country that has roads like this place. Like it's honestly like I say that to people, they don't get it. Laura is one of them, and I'm like, this place is pretty unique, and then they're just like, yeah, but genuinely like this little tiny town of awful tweakers and like people and just whatnot and zero culture and zero like anything like has the greatest roads in the country. Like, and that's another reason why I was so okay when I left Formula D was because I had my playground. Like I just had infinite roads that I wanted to hit. Like and it just never ended. And I could go find new ones every single day. But then like you get to the point where it's like life is worth sharing with people. And so it's like trying to like do all that stuff alone, like it is fulfilling, especially if you like put it a part of yourself to like being all like, I'm doing this for me and because I love it. But oh man, you need people. Like we're social animals.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Being in the mountains alone for too long isn't good. You start to hear banjos.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Being alone in anywhere
is not
too
good.
long is not good.
It's not good. No.
Find your community, find your people, do the shit that makes you happy as long as it's not like cult shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it is a cult, be a good cult, you know? Be like a happy cult.
Dude, I fuck with a good cult.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like dude.
I would join like a really cool cult. Well, drifting's kind of a cult.
It is a cult. Formula D is like the church and like
Which church is Formula D? Can we do this?
I don't want to do any of this.
Yeah, okay.
Hey everybody, we just heard a fire truck, but it sounded like it was farts. And we're here to tell you about CoraWorks. CoraWorks got the coolest stuff, man. You need parts? Hit them up. You need a build? Hit them up. You want really cool engine bay dress-up stuff that you can't get anywhere else on the planet or the galaxy or probably like the universe? I don't know what's bigger, the galaxy or the universe, but like pretty much anywhere in like space and time. Coolest engine bay dress-up parts, CoraWorks. CoraWorks has you covered. Go check them out. Buy some aero. You want like the coolest JDM stuff? They got it. They fucking got it. So go there, buy some stuff, and tell them I sent you. But if you want to save money on their stuff, their branded stuff, their engine bay shit, Goodest Boy gets you a discount, 15% off. CoraWorks, thanks for supporting the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Now go spend some money. You know what to do. In Goodest Cast fashion, support the homies. CoraWorks. I'm going to say it again. CoraWorks.
Welcome back from our
Welcome back, folks.
technical difficulties. Hold on.
Have you ever wanted to drift really well? Have you ever wanted to finally impress your parents? Have you ever wanted to not just be the black sheep of the family? Well, guess what? I have the tool for you. It's the tool that's going to help you succeed in life. It's a tool that's absolutely going to make you a better person every single day of your life. They're called toe plates, and it's how you adjust your alignment at the track. And if you're driving like ass and you're like, hey, it can't be me, it must be my alignment, Goodest toe plates, baby. You got the best toe plates on the planet. They're red anodized aluminum. And if you can't see them because I'm holding them up and you're listening, go check them out on goodestco.com and go buy 10 pairs.
How accurate are your clocks?
That clock's not accurate, but also kind of at the same time.
Is it 11:15?
It's 11 o'clock. Dude, I fuck with some Sherry's and like a pie shake.
A pie shake?
Have you never had one?
No.
Dude, Sherry's.
Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah. Welcome to back to the Goodest Cast. And so Sherry's has these pie shakes, which is it's a milkshake, but they blend a pie into it too.
What kind of do you have?
All
A
sorts
choice?
of pies.
What pie?
Oh, for sure.
Can you do like a chicken pot pie shake?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh God! I mean,
That sounds
I'm
terrible.
sure if
I'm
you
just
ask
curious.
him, hey, will you chuck this chicken pot pie into the blender with a scoop of ice cream? Yeah, like for sure.
Sherry sounds insane.
Have you never been? Oh, it's Denny's. It's Northwest Denny's.
I've been to a Sherry's once.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, maybe
Yeah.
we'll fuck with that. But
I went to Sherry's one time. It was cool. I met Sherry.
No, you did not.
Yeah, no, but I meant
Sherry's been dead for a while.
Sherry's a tweaker employee that was definitely working nights for way too long.
They got a lot of those. They got a lot
Yeah.
of tweakers down yonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just a tweaking community down here.
A lot of amphetamines.
Yeah, well, a lot of people call it methford for a long time because there
Yeah.
was such a high concentration of methamphetamine. But now we're like Fennyford is.
Ooh, Fennyford.
I just came up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, fentanyl's really taken over.
dude.
At
Yep.
least we're like passionate about
Pays for
drifting
my
and
drifting.
not passionate about fentanyl.
Well, teach their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you like fentanyl, that's cool too, I guess.
Yeah, dude, you honestly like that stuff. I'm so scared of because I was never like a pill person or anything like that, and I was around so many of them. But then, dude, like when I broke my arm, like in whatever I can't remember what they prescribed to me, but like I was like, I consider myself to be a strong-willed person. I'm like, I don't need any of that stuff, but
Yeah.
literally, like I could see how somebody could fall into like the grips of that stuff like so easily.
Yeah.
Dude, it's not good. Stuff is not good for you.
No. So get addicted to drifting and not.
Get addicted to spending
Opioids.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
At least you're like spending money that you. At least you can still make money and spend money.
There's a pretty good return on the money we put in drifting, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, it brings you joy.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of stress and frustration, and
But the friendships, the adventures, the just like going to random shops till like 2:00 in the morning, just the whole thing. It's like honestly, I wouldn't want to live any other life. Like I said, like I know so many people nowadays where it's like the thing that they're most passionate about is getting back to their house so that they can watch whatever TV show or play whatever video game. And like hats off if like I get enjoyment from that stuff too, but it's like I have to remind myself. It's like this is not what life's about.
yeah.
Gotta go do stuff.
I haven't watched an episode of TV in like a month.
Nice. What do you like to watch?
I don't know. Like I mean, I love TV and stuff. I've been grinding like,
Good.
with
Good on
like
you.
work and drifting and podcasts and moving and all this other stuff. Like it's hard to make time for stuff like that when you're kind of chasing something. I don't know. I think that's like the benefit of passion is you can put aside all the distractions in life.
For sure.
Can't beat social media though. That shit's in my brain.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, I know so many people who, yeah. Do you know it's like if you spend 3 hours a day on your phone, it's like by the end of the year, you spent like 50 something days of that year on your phone.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
I keep having to remind myself whenever I'm going through reels and whatnot. I'm like, dude, stop.
You're like, haha, puppies. And then you're like, damn, I
Don't
spent...
make me tell that story.
Do you have a story? I
Yeah,
wasn't trying to call you
like
out.
no, you called yourself out. We were at Winter Jam and our friend Dylan and his girlfriend.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
It's the best. It's like I think about it pretty often. Like genuinely, I like sometimes it plays in my brain. But like our friend has this dog named Lemmy, and it's a skinwalker, but it's a Labradoodle. And
I think it's
it will
not
hop
a
on command.
Labradoodle.
Yeah, I think she calls it a Labradoodle.
It's something else.
I understand, but that's what
It's a doodle of some kind.
yeah. Well, it's
It's a rare doodle.
curly haired dog. It's like when you look at it, you're like, that's not a dog. Like that's a thing. Like that's a skinwalker, like or something. Because like Lemmy will hop on command. Like and he will do just a straight into the air hop. And like we were hyping it up to Laura and Palmer. And we're just like, yo, check this out. You guys are gonna love this dog. It hops on command. And then like Lemmy comes over. We're like, Lemmy hop. And like Lemmy like comes to attention and then like does one of his straight up hops. And I kid you not, I have to stand up and do this.
Yeah.
And I'll have to get back here because this is so. Lemmy hops and I'm Palmer, and Palmer literally goes like in disbelief, like sees the dog hop, and he goes like, and
That's a true story.
I think about it pretty often, like genuinely.
That was
like the
that was
image-
pure joy.
It was like it's so genuine. Like I will never forget it because oh man, it's like a meme in my head that I just can't get rid of. It's so good.
I didn't realize that I was missing my love for dogs until like I don't know,
Oh,
4 years ago.
really?
Yeah.
Why?
I wasn't like a pet person.
Oh,
Yeah. Then I got one.
You had never had a pet?
No.
Really? Not
Yeah,
even
my
like a
parents hated
goldfish
me,
from the
so-
carnival or something?
We had goldfish with them. It was weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it got weird.
Oh, okay. You want to dive into that?
Like anything my dad would get involved in, he would just like kind of take over. So like I like won some goldfish, and then he's like, we gotta get him a tank, and then he like made him like this like fucking insane tank, and then they got really big, and then he like got into other fish, and I was just like, that's his thing.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah.
actually won them by throwing the ping pong ball into the little
Yeah,
glass
yeah,
thing?
I won some goldfish.
Dude, fuck yeah. That's
Yeah,
honestly
it was
some of
tight.
the best memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wish they gave out girlfriends at those things.
Yeah, well, I mean, motor skills don't always get you girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
But your current motor skills get you.
I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to know where that joke was going.
I mean, motor skills, like, look at all these motors around.
There's a lot. This is the house of V8 right now. And I guess there's a 4-cylinder over there and a non-built KA somewhere sitting around here.
A non-built KA?
Yeah, it's just a
What?
block. And then it was this car's motor, like when I originally bought it. And
Yeah. You should there's no motor in it now. You should just slap the KA in there.
like I'm in the because that car's such a time capsule for me.
Yeah.
For those who can't see it, there's a completely basically totaled S13 over here that I've been driving since day one, and it really deserves a makeover. But it's at the same time as like a time capsule for me.
It is
because
a time capsule.
It is because like it's kind of like that period correct, like mid 2000s drift car. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's pretty ugly.
I mean, you said it on me.
Yeah. So
Just leave it as it be, you know?
it deserves better.
Yeah. If you were to refresh it, what would you do?
I would probably put this body on it because we make these corners and
Yeah.
like the whole like rear section of it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because that's a Gen 1 Rocket Bunny. I don't even know if you can still find that stuff.
Yeah.
The front bumper for that car
Yeah.
is the 17th Rocket Bunny bumper ever made, and it literally says on it, it's like serial
Those
number
numbers?
0017, and so yeah, it is like
Is it still here
Mm-hmm.
with us?
yeah, sitting up there somewhere. Really, it needs some love, just like anything else in the drift world. But yeah, those fenders are original Gen 1 Rocket Bunny fenders. I think it was the only set I ever put on it. That car used to be a lot prettier. But
I know the feeling.
yeah. Oh man. What else is there to talk about? What else do we need to cover?
I don't know. I feel like we covered a lot. I feel like we covered not everything.
Well, what are we missing?
The keys to life. The keys to happiness.
I think we're all on that journey together.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, we'll just keep drifting and then we'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, the human experience.
Yeah, no, completely. Yeah. That's what did you steal that from me?
I don't know.
That's what
Maybe.
I always tell people whenever, like, because I talk about, like, if I lost my pops or, like, just anything, I'm just like, dude, it's like, it's part of being a human. Like, we all live such a similar thing, but at the same time, like, not similar in any way, shape, or form. Like, no one experience is shared. But, like, out of all the experiences that we share, we're all born. A lot of us are, have family that we're born to. And it's like, and you lose those that you love, like whether it be death or like whatever sort of situation, and we all die. And that's literally the only thing that we all share together as humans. And it's like, and so whatever, like, yeah, I don't know. It's almost an honor to like go through that stuff. Cause like,
Wow.
well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah,
We're just lucky to be here, and even
just to exist.
yeah,
How lucky we are to be anything at all.
yeah. We were one of a lot of little swimmers.
That's not biologically accurate.
How does it work?
Well, I'll tell you from my experience. So, No.
It's part of the human experience.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, what an honor it is to be alive and to do anything at all.
Yeah. And the fact that we get to do something as cool as we do on any scale,
For real.
whether it just be like a couple events a year and driving with your friends, or even just having a cool car and getting to drift it a little bit, like all the way to whatever level you want to take it. Like, pretty fortunate to be able to do all that.
Dude, so fortunate. I have to constantly remind myself that. It's like all the time, like, and that was something I had to come to grips with like the whole FD thing was like, I'd be so bummed out about the way it went. But at the same time, I would like have to force, like, remember myself, like how lucky I was to be able to do it at all.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and I'll never like get over it. And so that's why that's another one of the things that like caused me to be okay with like not being there anymore, is like just the fact that I even got to be there one time, like should have been enough. And it is enough now. It wasn't for a little bit, but
Yeah. I'm excited for the new era.
same. Yeah.
I see like a lot of like momentum,
Mm-hmm.
and like I think with fun and focusing on fun and having like the good crew around you, I see good things in your future.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate it. And you too. I mean, what's in the near future for you?
I don't know. Same shit.
Yeah. Are you going to go back to Laguna and do more backies? Which is sick as fuck, by the way.
I would love to. I want some more power, and I want to start sooner. Like, I was being kind of conservative because they're like, this is our first time here. Don't be. And I know that sounds like
Sure.
humble brag. Like I really
No, for sure.
I was practicing with Ryan Cotto on a seto before we went. I was like, I'm going to do this.
I need to get a sim.
I was like, I'm going to do a backwards entry into turn 2 from turn 1 to turn 2. And like on a seto, I was practicing him at like 130, like as soon as you crest the hill, flick it in and backwards. And I didn't do that. I did it later, and but like being there, that shit is fucking scary because like you can't see anything. So you like come up over the hill.
It is so blind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no idea how steep it was.
Yeah,
Like,
me either.
Both directions.
Like when you play it on Gran Turismo, it's like you like just you can crest the hill and you're like, oh, okay. But like in real life, you're like, I can't see anything. And also people kept like jumping out and not doing like
jumping out of pit lane, and
they
like,
would jump from pit lane into turn 2 in blind.
Well, did you see the video of where I had to like drift in between people?
So a lot of people are like, I had like people I work with who were friends on Instagram send me your clip, like that was on
the
whatever brand.
just the main entry one, or the one where I'm passing people?
The main entry one.
Okay.
The one where and anytime they send me that, I just send them the one where you're passing people.
Oh.
Because that one's like to me, that one's even more insane.
Yeah.
But it's like you didn't have a choice. Like,
yeah,
what are you going to do? Hit the brakes? Like, you're already on the brakes.
Julian was in the car with me, and I wish that we had like actual like
In-car?
in-car footage of it, because dude, I've never been more stressed out in a drift car in like such a short period of time, because like we can't literally the same speed, like 138 or whatever, and like up and over that crest, and all of a sudden I hadn't seen anybody exit pit lane, so I was like, oh, we're good to go, and then just came over the top and literally just like
Cars.
6 cars just like randomly placed around the track, and I was like, wow, like this is either gonna work or it's not. And like, dude, it just happened to fucking just barely turn out.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
That one got me more hyped.
That one was, oh man, yeah, we'll have to go back. I really want to do the high speed stuff. I want to do more of like, I want to try to do some like 160 mile an hour stuff, but I don't know if I'm gonna have the power to do it. I'm not really sure. We'll figure that out.
I would like to. Yeah, I wanna do some.
Let's do it.
Sillier shit.
Let's do it.
I need like if I go back to Laguna, I want like another like 100.
Well, you're gonna go back this year, yeah?
Yeah, if they let me.
They'll let you. They'll let
Yeah.
you. Well, hopefully. Please.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, that was such an honor to go there.
Yeah, it really was. It was
so
cool. I was like really
crazy.
happy that like you threw down some stuff and like I got to throw down some stuff. Like I felt like good.
You like none of my entries made it to the live stream, but yours, you were like all over the live stream.
Yeah, shout out Brandon Cotto.
Oh, was he
He
doing
was
that?
switching it. Yeah.
Thanks, Brandon. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Toss old Mattio up there. No,
No, I don't know. You didn't make none of those made it on.
no, none of those were in the live stream.
Really?
From what I could find, yeah,
That's wild.
it's fine. Let's go drive S2000 sometime, Brandon.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw him under the bus. Sorry, Brandon.
No. Yeah, that was an honor. You're gonna stay all West Coast? You're not gonna drive any East Coast this year?
Yeah, my program's like me. So like
Well, we should try to figure out. We should try to get us out to. Well, dude, what I really want is like a 4-car wedge.
yeah, I want to drive E-Town so bad.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, dude, those are some of my favorite kids in the world.
Yeah.
They
They have such a good like scene out there.
well, and it's so sick because like
Scene.
over on the West Coast, like it's in like this is a tough thing because a lot of people on the West Coast are a lot more sweet in the sense of like, like not getting in someone's face when they're not like driving to their potential.
Yeah.
And so the thing that's sick about E-Town is because they have that whole like East Coast like, oh, forget about it, your mother, and like type stuff. And like so somebody will be in C group, which is the lowest tier, like no tandem. And then like they'll be like, oh, I want to move up to B, and those dudes will literally be like, fuck no, why? You suck. Like, why would I let you drive in B? And
Yeah.
it causes people. It
To
hurts.
try harder.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
causes people to push themselves, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. Like, that's like super sick.
Yeah.
What were you gonna? I interrupted you. What were you saying?
No, I'm. Have you ever driven E-Town?
Fuck yeah. And so like one of my, I genuinely love those boys. Like some of the OG Bloodmaster kids. And like some of them, one of them was Frankie Bean. I think Frankie Beans is his name. And another Miata driver is 2 Miata drivers. And I was in the pro car and they're like, dude, can we follow you? And I'm like, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
And so like I was like, okay, well, I just gotta enter real slow. And then like I was like, dude, I'll just hold the left foot the whole time. And so literally like I entered and like as slow, which this car is not fast, like that it's a lot slower than the Pro-Am car. But like all of us, so I was just held left foot and it literally they were able to stack. So it was like me in the pro car and the Roush car and 2 like basically stock Miatas like doored on me. And I was like hyped to do it because like then like the boys get to drive and then also like they get to like tandem their stock Miatas with like a pro level car,
Yeah.
pro level.
Yeah.
And like, dude, when like they act all tough and like all hard and stuff, but literally like I almost like went to the floor multiple times when those dudes like literally were like pushing people out of the way to get to me to like pick me up and give me a hug because they're like that was the coolest thing ever. Like
Yeah.
getting to and so like it's a real scene. I really like them.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah. I mean, shit.
Yeah, You should go.
It. Yeah. I've been talking about it for a while. I've been talking about a lot of stuff.
dude. Somebody on at E-Town let Palmer drive your shit one weekend. Like
There's
genuinely.
been offers.
Well, then take them.
I know.
They are literally the best. Like
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
I like the East Coast feel. I don't know. There's something about that like
for sure.
what the fuck do they call the area over like I mean I know it's like East Coast or whatever, but it's like New York, Philly, like New Jersey, like that whole like I like the people out there.
Yeah, same.
Pennsylvania,
Yep.
like that. Like I don't know. They're just like they just don't give a fuck, and that's like it's very like be good at what you do and like be good to people, but like if they deserve to be bad to people, be bad to them. I guess I don't know. It's like the best way to describe it.
For sure. It's it's different for sure. Like there's, and it's weird too because like there's this whole like because I don't have like a East West Coast Best Coast like type thing. Like
Yeah.
I just see it as like 2 different people from like 2 different sides of this rock in the middle of the ocean, and so like but they're like pretty intense about the whole like we don't fuck with West Coasters like type
Yeah.
stuff. But there's a very very rarely there are
You can
you can break through that for sure.
I think there's good drivers everywhere.
For sure.
There's good drivers everywhere, and it's like it's kind of it's like game recognized game,
Yeah.
Like you need to like if you pass the test, then you've passed the test.
For sure. Yeah.
And if you haven't passed the test yet, try harder.
Yep. Get out there.
But don't try hard. Like just practice or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Try to make sure in your mind to always like pull yourself back and like humble yourself and like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I humble myself a lot.
Dude, shame.
Yeah. Is it good or bad? Is it
to humble yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Have you ever met a cocky person?
Yeah.
Or here, let me have you ever met a Formula D driver?
Oh my God.
I'm not talking about all of you, for any of you that are listening.
Yeah. There's a short list.
There's a long list. There's a short list of good people.
Fuck.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
like, what do you
get
want me
it.
to say?
I
It's like,
I understand.
yeah, it's like, yeah. I don't know. I just want to be around good people. I just want to be around people that make me happy. That's it.
I think that's what we all want.
Yeah, no, for sure. Some people lose sight of that though, especially if you go like chasing like the whole. You just can't forget what you're grounded in. Like that's the number one thing. Like try to remember where you came from. Like that's I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have written in that car. I have written above the on the dash because like there was a time in pro-am where I couldn't find that much success and I like wasn't just winning that much and I wasn't like doing well in pro-am and then all of a sudden I had this moment when I went to Top Drift for the first time and we were at Horse Thief and like you have to go up there onto the hill and stage before it's like your turn to like do your run. And I remember like I was like bummed with myself and I was like not happy with any of my performance and I was just like I don't know how to describe it. I can remember it so vividly, but I remember sitting up there on the top of the hill with my car shut off and like having the warm breeze like just blow through the car. And I was like, dude, why am I like trying to fake all of this? Like, I was like, why am I like, I'm not like really just going at this. I'm like, I'm tripping myself out too much. Or like, I was like, I'm not really present, I think is like what, and I think that happens in competition to everybody is like, you get so torn up in like wanting to win. And then once again, look cool and like almost, which is essentially like trying to be somebody who you're not. And like, and then all of a sudden, like it clicked for me. And like, and then from that moment on in Pro-Am, I don't think I ever didn't take another podium. Like, and so like I finished third that event and then I did first at the next Top Drift and I did a bunch of podiums at like Golden Gate and stuff. It was like, so I have written in that car on the roll bar padding, it just says remember. And so, and it's to pull me right back to that moment of like being up on the hill and having that realization of like, yeah, just be yourself, like, and be present for yourself. Like, I don't know how to describe it.
I understand.
Yeah. Like, don't try
that.
to be present to win. Don't try to be present to like, to be somebody you're not. Like,
I've definitely had moments like that, or I mean, I still, in different ways, I guess. Like, I used to think too much about who was watching. Like, if someone was there and I wanted to impress them, like if I saw someone on the side watching me drive, it would completely throw me off because I'm like, oh, they're watching.
right.
I need to like throw down. I want to like impress them. And it would just be like, I'd be thinking about what I'm doing way too much. And I wouldn't just be like living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And like once I kind of like ridded that, but it does take getting to a certain point where you aren't being hard on yourself, I guess.
Right.
Like you need to like be able to deliver, and that comes with practice and time and like letting it go and just like enjoying being there and like
Be there for yourself.
Yeah, and that's when drifting got a lot easier.
Yeah, easier
Like
and funner and just like
and I started to do better.
and positive stuff just flows to you. Like
Yeah, I kind of changed my mindset of like any comp I did, I would just sit there and take a deep breath and be like, if I lose, I lose. It doesn't fucking matter. Like I don't have anything to prove. Like I like, all these guys think I'm gonna lose anyway. So
right.
Yeah.
That's actually a part of like what was that exact thing like going through my head. Yeah. That was like when Huh.
Oh.
Sorry. Can you hear that?
Yeah. I can now.
Sorry.
It's okay. Well,
Dude, thanks for having me on the podcast.
thanks for doing the podcast.
Of course. It's an honor.
I have a similar message on my dash. It pops up and it's like, nothing's that serious.
Yeah. No,
Like,
and
anytime the car turns on, like it's like a reminder, like the shit isn't that serious. Like, it's supposed to be fun. Like, that's why we do it.
Yep.
It's not a job.
Yep.
Like, fucking enjoy it.
Yeah. So I have remember plus like a little like a little symbol that like kind of like harkens back to like my childhood, and then I also have a little pine tree that I have like drawn on there with Sharpie, because when I like think about that, I instantly like shoot back to the mountains and like just hearing silence and just hearing like the wind blow through the trees, because that's all of my driving was like all done with that. Like anytime that I learned like was in the mountains, because I almost went off a cliff and then I was like, oh, I should chill out for a second, like parked, and then I would just sit there and look over the like just the mountains and the valleys and stuff, and I would just like hear the wind move through the trees. And then I was like, oh man, like this is who I am. Like that's, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so write stuff in your cars. If you, little messages, little like things that are important to you. Like, and yeah, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Which that's something I feel like we all hear like from childhood, like all the time. And you just never realize or conceptualize like what it means. Yeah, just be yourself. It's good enough.
Yeah. It's worked for most people.
I guess, but I feel like most people just don't ever understand that.
Well, I think it's easier said than done, but also
This is true. That's
like
true.
putting in the effort to just be yourself goes a long way.
For sure.
Like, it's hard to just flip the switch and be like, I'm myself. Like, what does that mean?
No, for sure. You have to go
You
through.
have to like figure out what
You have to
being
take a
yourself
beating.
is.
Yeah. And yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to get kicked while you're down a couple times, and then you'll be like, oh, this is me.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm like, so that was like honestly like the greatest gift I was ever given was me. Yeah. Do this. Yeah. I don't know. Do drifting for you folks. Like not for anybody else. Like do it because you love that shit. Like that shit's so cool.
Because it's the fucking best.
It's the best. And like we're so lucky that we're in like a time and place where not only do we have the technology to do it, but also like that we get to do it like legally. And like we're not getting taxed for like, you know, putting pollutions into the air, which I fear that shit's going to come at some point soon. And then we'll all have to go to like driving on like 1,200 treadwear tires that don't put off any smoke.
Yeah, like low rolling resistance, like Prius takeoffs.
Oh, God. Yeah. So,
But then we'll all just drive like Corollas or something.
well, I bet you
But
it'll turn
there'll be
into
like
a new thing where,
$100,000 by then, so.
oh God. Yeah. And then, but I bet you it would turn, if like drifting became a thing where it's like illegal to put pollutants into the air, then like, I feel like then we would end up like designing crazy cart type things.
Yeah.
Where
Or
it's
just
like-
like lots of rain drifting.
Oh,
Or like
dude,
wet-
I
wet
fuck
track.
with some rain drifting.
Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
you got to come up here and drive the mountains sometime. Oh man.
I will.
Yeah. We got to go do the death togue.
Okay. Fuck yeah, sign me up.
Yeah. It's like, I think,
With a name like that, how can I not?
I think you've driven on that road. Have you done the full thing from, I don't want to say the name of the road because I don't want to burn it down, but like from, okay. Yeah. She's been on that road. She's been on that road. It's so sick. It has a sign at the very beginning of it that says, warning, convoluted road system ahead. You could get stranded and die. Exclamation point. And it's like a government sign. It wasn't like some local put it out there. It's like the government like went and put it in there.
It's pretty cool.
It's so cool. And
That's
like,
so edgy.
dude, and the fact that like once you like it takes like if you're driving the speed limit at like not going over the national highway standard of 55 mile per hour, then like it'll take you like 2 hours to run the whole road. And so like, and that's with no brakes, like no nothing like that. And it's crazy. It is literally
It's an endurance race.
it literally is. Like it genuinely is. No. And it spits you out like you just happened to come across the ocean. Like yeah. So at the very end, so it's like you get this sick road that's like, dude, I don't even know how to describe it. And it's also sick too because I don't know what it is in the roads here, but the roads that you guys will go up towards in the next few days, those in the summertime have, it's like a grease almost. I don't know how to describe it. It's like inlaid rubber, like in the tarmac. And so it's like the tarmac's a little rough, but you see these like black splotches. And when literally like if you put your foot on it in a hot summer day, and if you twist your foot, your foot will stick to the road. It's literally like drag track prep almost is what it feels like.
Huh.
And so like in the evening times in the summer, like when the road's hot and like you have hot rubber on your car, and then like, dude, like I'm telling you, the performance you can rip out of these tarmacs at speed limit is nutty. Like it's crazy. And yeah, I actually I was real upset about a lady friend situation that I had. Oh no. And I like spun, dude, I put my Corvette in the ditch. Like, oh dude, I was doing like 55 mile an hour. And it was still icy at like some sections of the mountain because like you have shade where like the rest of the road will thaw, but the sun will never hit this one particular spot. And so it'll be permafrozen like throughout the whole winter. And dude, I came through this place at like, it's like off of this small straightaway. And like, I was doing like 55. And then all of a sudden, like I realized I could just see the little diamonds in the road. And I was like, fuck. And I just like literally put the left wheel on the dirt because the dirt doesn't freeze as much.
Yeah.
And so like tried to hold the inside, felt the car start to like slip out this way. And dude, I went from like 2,000 RPM to like bouncing limiter like before I let the clutch back out, like and it was the biggest clutch kick I've ever done, and I almost held it on the road, and then the car like teeter-tottered where it was like perfectly balanced, like I could like put a finger on the front right corner. It was like 4 feet in the air, and I could like put a finger on it and the whole car would go and like, dude, yeah. So it's we have to have a mountain day sometime.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, dude, come on up.
Yeah, we will. Thanks for doing the podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me. Thanks for listening if you're still here, the 5 people or whatever.
Yeah. There'll probably be a couple. If you listen to the whole thing and you enjoyed it, DM Matt and tell him how much you love him.
Dude, dude, you don't have to do that. But
Yeah.
I would appreciate
Oh,
it.
shucks.
Yeah, no, it's for real. No,
Who,
thank
me?
you. Thank you guys. If you guys did listen, like genuinely, thank you for hearing my story and like my complaining and whatnot. And thank you for being a fan of Palmer. And like genuinely, I love these people, both Palmer and Laura. Like they're just like, my circle is small and like they make a part of it. And so thank you so much for having me.
Of course, dude.
Dude, anytime. I had to get close to the mic to say
Yeah, that was way to sign it off. Bye, everybody.
Peace. I'll see you guys around a grid life.
Yeah.
Yep.